What up, Sandy?
Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. So tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. He always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth telling, more problem solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. We got lots to cover today. Hope you guys had a fantastic evening. Let me just get our Instagram feed up. We're going to welcome everybody on the program. We do have some guests who are going to be joining us in just a few minutes. So good morning to Robert. He's here bright and early. And let me see here now. We've got Diamond Princess Sapphire in the house. Good morning, Diamond. How are you? So good to see you guys. Miss Olivia here bright and early as well. You guys showed up to class. I think you're looking for some brownie points. Damaris, good morning, Damaris. We've got Miss Pat. Michelle says good morning, checking in from NYC. Good morning to you, darling. I think, is Damaris from NYC as well? We normally have a few regulars from New York joining the program. So good morning to all of you. Miss Barbara joining from the UK. She says it's cool. Wow, that's nice. I know everybody else is having a heat wave, honey jail. So it's nice to see somebody's getting some cool weather. Good morning to Miss Lucille. She says, I'm not late this morning. No problem today. So good to see you. We've got Lizette in the house. Miss Olive, Blissful Powell is also here saying good morning to Cayman Peeps. Gracie is here joining us from Hampshire, England, saying hello. Wow. UK being well represented today. So give me one quick second. I'm going to go ahead and grab the YouTube link. All right, there we go. Had a little bit of feedback there. I always have to mute that one. And then we're going to grab Facebook and we are going to send this out to everyone. Now, just give me 1 second. I got to get some tech help on the line because I'm just realizing, I'll explain it to you guys later, what we got going on. But we're gonna need Marlon's assistance to kind of get the phone lines up this morning. So we're gonna be begging a favor from in-house tech support. Please bring me the show phone, and Flo finally sent the eSIM. So I'm gonna forward it to you to add it to that phone. All right, thank you. All right, some last minute stuff here. I'll tell you all about it later on, honey chia. I think we finally have a solution though for our phone call issues. So that's a bit of good news. Hopefully, we're not going to jinx it until we know for sure, but we tested it yesterday and it seems to be working robustly. So we'll see. All right. Gracie, again, thank you so much for joining us. Miss Flora is here. Iva says good morning to you, Auntie Sandy. Hope you had a great birthday. I sure did, honey Jill. It was good. Nice and relaxing, which ain't nothing wrong with that. When you get to be of a particular age, you look forward to just like a different vibe altogether. All right. So let me see here now. I am going to send everything out. So I see the news channel is growing. I think you guys are getting the hang of that, the WhatsApp news channel and how to join. So that's good news because that is your best source for everything coming directly to your phone. So right now you've just got the show links. So make sure you can click on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, we're also on Instagram. There is no link for Instagram. Let me just check something at Flow. Specific instructions and activation. Okay. All right. So we'll see if there's anything specific that we need to do to activate that eSIM. And then, no. Tell Dad we need his help actually activating the eSIM. So I'm going to need him more than just handing me the phone. Okay. So.
Should I get this to Dad?
Yes.
What do I tell him?
Just tell him eSIM. She doesn't know what that means. She's like, what? What's an eSIM? All right. So let me save this. And then I'm going to just send this to her. So I'm trying to actually activate an eSIM on the show for the show this morning. Turns out I still had a physical SIM for this phone. And then I'm going to tell you guys later on why we're going this route. Perfect time, really, to do it. All right. I thought I had all eSIMs, but turns out this one was still an actual physical SIM. Okay. So we're going to send him that eSIM barcode, get it all done here this morning. And I'm praying, fingers crossed, that this will be the solution that we need. And then I'll explain the technical stuff to you guys a little bit later on. All right, Miss Juanita, fear no evil. Hello, good morning. Says good morning, CMR and crew. Good morning to you. Miss Delsey's in the house. Good morning. How are you? I think, were you celebrating an anniversary recently, Delsey? Congratulations. So good to see. Gracie, thank you for the birthday greetings. I appreciate it. Charm is here. Dee Dee is in the house. Beautiful peeps, beautiful peeps. We've got Miss Juanita saying good morning, Sandy. Hoping all is well. Still haven't gotten my WhatsApp together yet. Message me after the show. Maybe I can direct you a little bit on how to do it. It's actually very, very easy. I'll walk you through it. Don't worry. We'll get you all sorted out because I know you guys like to get your messages right on your phone. So that's important. Aliano, thank you so much. Patricia Blake in the house. Carla, good morning to you. Yes, we'll talk a little bit about the blue moon last night. Hope you guys got to check out the super moon, and it was super moon and a blue moon. We won't see that combination for another 12 years. So, hey, you got to take in these beautiful sights once you get an opportunity. All right, Irvelyn, good morning to you. Miss Doreen, so good to see you. Irvelyn says, thank you, Miss Sandra, for the birthday posting for my daughter yesterday. You're most welcome. She's absolutely gorgeous. Hello, Sandy. Buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? We've got Annie. And then we've got Sandra Millwood joining us from Windsor Park. Big shout out to Windsor Park group, Washington Boulevard group as well. Andy joining us from La Ceiba. Jesus Baby Edwards also here. And now we have over close to 300 people actually already on the live stream between Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And of course, radio. Good morning to Miss Lorna. I see you there on Instagram saying good morning, Sandy. Hope you had a memorable birthday. And post, God continue to bless and strengthen you and hope the floodgates of your finance and open the floodgates of your finances. Wow. Now that's quite a blessing, girl. Bring it on. Hope these persons on here are blessed. Just getting to financial gifting just to something helping came out. Yes. Thank you so very much. Appreciate all of the positivity. Good morning to Miss Joy Ebanks, also joining us on Instagram as well. So let's get this show on the road, right, K Mankind? We got so much to cover today. So allow me to welcome our guests from the MRCU. They're here in the studio with us today. So we've got the core group. Hold on, Kevin. I'm going to switch out here so we can actually see you guys. There you go. Beautiful people from MRCU this morning. Good morning, everyone. You sound muted. So just unmute yourself.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, so you got a whole team of looks like experts there joining you. So I must tell you guys, because Kevin is so familiar with the system, everything looks professional and everything looks great. So I see, Kevin, you've got the lab folks on hold as well. Wow, I'm so impressed. And then you've got some slides and videos and everything for us. So for those of you who don't know what MRCU stands for, it's the Mosquito Research and Control Unit here in the Cayman Islands. And they are celebrating today. Kevin, tell us what you're celebrating. Whoever wants to tell us.
Yeah, today is World Mosquito Day. And so this is something that's actually not brand new, but it wasn't something that a lot of people really realized existed. And so we want to make sure that now we want to make sure with the things going on in the world that we are making sure that we bring recognition to it. This has been going on since the 1897 is when World Mosquito Day first started up. And so we want to make sure that we are informing our residents of where we were to where we are now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when I heard of World Mosquito Day, I was like, wait a minute now. What are we celebrating?
Yeah. I got a fun fact for you, Sandy. Did you know that the Cayman Islands, right here in Grand Cayman, we actually hold the world record for the amount of mosquitoes captured in a trap. And we actually got a photo of it. Let me see if I could find it. Actually, I don't have let me see. I'm probably not able to pick. You can't do a JPEG. I'm going to have to message it to you, Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually have a picture of the world record right here that was captured many years ago.
All right, give me one quick second, Kevin. I understand we're not on radio, so let me just try to kick this in real quick. And then we're gonna come back to the interview. So let me just play some music, and then we're gonna kick it in. right, folks, just want to make sure that everybody can hear us. Now, those of you in Radio Land are also tuned in as well, as we are acknowledging and celebrating World Mosquito Day, trying to keep mosquito numbers low. But tell us that little fun fact that you had there for us, Kev.
Yes, Sandy. So the Cayman Islands is actually the world record holder for the amount of mosquitoes captured in a trap overnight. So I sent you a picture. If you're able to pull that up real quick, that is actually a picture of all of those mosquitoes.
Okay, wait a minute.
It's a picture that I sent you. That's a different video.
Oh, is it a picture in the studio or?
I sent it to you on WhatsApp.
Oh, on WhatsApp. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me see. So
Yeah,
we have a world. This kind of doesn't surprise me, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I could see how this would be. Sometimes when we got there and they're swarming around, I could totally see. Oh wow, those are all mosquitoes. Oh my God. Wow. Hold on a second now. Let's bring up this picture that Kevin has sent us. I gotta do a close up of this. Check this out. Those are all mosquitoes in that pan.
Yes, and in fact, that is 793,103, and yes, that was hand counted.
I tell you what, I feel sorry for the person who had that job that day, or probably took him a couple days. Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, and that was back in 1974. Remember, the old people used to say that mosquitoes would smother cattle and other livestock. Well, that you can see why. You could absolutely see why.
Oh my God! And that was, what day was that? Is that August? I'm trying to look at the month on that picture.
It looks like the 5th.
The 29th of 1974.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
It was in Town.
In Town. Well, it does make me feel better because at least back then they probably didn't have a whole lot to do. Mosquito counting. It was the old version of bean counting. Gave them a little something to do for a couple days. Do you have any idea how long it took them to count those mosquitoes?
So Cole Morgan, he's one of our research officers, and he will be able to answer that because the same person that counted all those mosquitoes is one of them that actually trained Cole. So Cole?
Yeah, so back during those days, when they took them about 4 days to count it in total. They did it in big sections and kind of had to split it up, but the vast majority was one species. I believe it was Seniorhynchus. Yeah, Aedes seniorhynchus, which is one of our more common mosquitoes, the one that most commonly bites us. Yeah.
And of course, that one we know from a few years ago, Zika in particular, is the one that tends to carry a lot of diseases and also flies around in the daytime.
Not this one.
Yeah.
Not this time. This
not this one.
Okay. No, this is the nuisance. This is the nuisance one. The ones that you are likely getting bit from most of the times that dusk and dawn. That's what those are. Those ones do not carry diseases to humans. So I'll get Dr. Wheeler.
Okay. Which one is the daytime? That's the Aedes aegypti?
Yes.
Aedes aegypti is daytime. Now, this mosquito, Aedes seniorhynchus, it's our most common mosquito. It's call it a nuisance mosquito. It does transmit one disease, but it's to animals. It will transmit dog heartworm. That's the reason why it's important that people make sure that their dogs do receive regular dog heartworm treatment because the vector is very common.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a lot of mosquitoes, and no one else in the world has been able to beat that record.
Well, I don't think anyone wants to beat our record. We don't want to beat the record, that's for sure. I saw that Inspiring was asking, and I just brought the comment up on there that says, did they count the mosquitoes? Absolutely. Every single morning, we have a team that goes out. In fact, the team is right there in the lab. I'm going to go ahead and
yes. Oh, wow. Look at the lab team. I'm just going to scoot them over to the mean area here because I want to see. Wow. So they're tell us some of the stuff that they do there in the lab, Kevin.
Yeah, they actually count mosquitoes. And I'm going to ask Storm to come up. Storm, you can hear us, right? Yeah, she's going to come up over. And she's actually there counting mosquitoes. Right now, Whitney's the other person, and Everest, he's one of our researchers that's in the back behind. Yeah, but Storm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, absolutely. This is so cool. I think for most of our viewers, this is the first time they're getting a look in the MRCU lab. So tell us a little bit, Storm, about what you do in their lab. I see one of your coworkers Looks like she's counting mosquitoes.
So I am an entomology lab tech here, and
Yes.
so is Whitney Ebanks is also an entomology lab tech.
Okay.
And the doctor is Everest, and he's one of our research officers.
Right.
So every morning we go around the island. We have 24 traps in total. We collect them and we come here, freeze them, and we count them every morning.
Wow. I mean, someone wanted to know, this is inspiring, says, how do they count the mosquitoes? I mean, you just manually count them.
It takes a long time to learn the different species on island. However, once you learn all of them, it becomes very easy to count.
So when you say once you learn all of them, you're talking about like mosquito types? Is that what you're also looking at when you're counting them?
Yes. On a day-to-day basis, we see around 18 species, but when it comes to all the islands across, we see around 23. They all have different variations of each other, and there's different parts to be able to identify them from each other.
This is really something. I mean, it's so fascinating to know that there's just so much about mosquitoes that we simply don't know. And that's why, of course, we've got the team there at the MRCU who are experts in mosquito control. So Kevin, you've got a little graph here for us. Tell us what this is.
This is a little graph that shows kind of how successful of a year we're having currently. But again, I'm going to just open by saying as well that even though the numbers are lower than it has been previously, it does not mean that that can't change overnight. So while we're seeing that success, you know, we've had a few things that helped us keep those numbers down in addition to a lot of the things that we'll talk about later that we're doing that's science-based. But if you looked at last year's numbers, and so the graph you see there kind of looks at the last few years back from 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Those are the actual numbers of mosquitoes that were counted, broken down by month. And then below that, you'll kind of see the little graph, and you'll see at the bottom, you'll see on the graph that is a very low blue line that is way lower than all of those previous years. So our numbers are significantly lower. I know last year around this time, everybody was complaining how bad the mosquitoes were.
Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you're not going to get bit right now. I mean, it's still possible, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. But again, I think Chris wanted to add some stuff to it.
Sure. One thing, while we were talking about the lab and as they're counting mosquitoes, I just wanted to mention, some people ask, why do we even ID mosquitoes? If it's a mosquito, why does it matter? We want them all killed. But there's so many different types of mosquitoes, and some breed, some bite at night and some bite during the day. Some breed in flood water, some breed in permanent water, some bite people, some don't bite people at all. They only feed on reptiles and other birds. And we need to know that in order to know the best way to go about controlling them. We wouldn't necessarily use the same products to control one that we would the other. Some mosquito numbers, if we're seeing them really get high, we may not do anything because there may be a species that really is only biting reptiles or other things like that. So identifying those different types of mosquito is very important to what we do.
Yes. So everybody is, I think, fascinated by this concept that you guys actually count mosquitoes. So Flora says, how do you count the mosquitoes? Do you separate them? And how do you know that you're not counting the same ones over and over again? So Flora, if you look closely at the lab text, you'll see there that she was actually putting them in different little categories. So they kind of, I mean, they take them, I guess, out of the trap, and then, you know, they're looking at them individually and moving them over. It seems like quite an arduous task, to be honest.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and so we have so many different things that's going on. This is just one element. So one of the things is, unlike many other mosquito control folks around the world, the way we do it here in the Cayman Islands is science-based. So some people, oh, we got a mosquito problem. All they're going to do is go out there and just put chemical, fogging and spraying all over the place. That is not something that we do. We want to limit our environmental impacts, even though the products that we use are approved for safe use in the amounts that we're using it. We want to only use what we really actually need. So based on the data that we are collecting, We take that data, and then each morning we have what we call a toolbox talk, which is when we kind of go over our operations. And Leo over there is our operations manager, and pretty much the data that he gets from the lab, the data that he gets from our disease prevention officers. Andre will speak in just a bit. He's one of those boots on the ground that goes into the swamps and look at the type of larvae that's out there. He also surveils and do property inspections where they go into your yards, look for areas that would need to be taken out of the equation so we don't have mosquitoes breeding at people's homes. And we take all that data and come back. We have also people that call us, email us, message us on social media, or we also live in a community and we observe where bites are happening. And so based on that data, we actually take all that data together, and then we make an operations plan out of that for the day. We don't know if we're going to be spraying tomorrow or next week because we don't actually know until that data is actually in. So Leo, he's one of those folks that makes the decision with the rest of the team based on all of that data that is collected. So that's why I didn't want to just have one or two people. I want to have everyone represented from MRCU. That's, we deal with mosquitoes. We have a research element. We have a control element, and then we all work as a unit.
Nice. Okay. Very good. So Sharm,
for of course Leo and also Andre to kind of they haven't gotten an opportunity to say anything, but Leo, I know I kind of highlighted some of what you do, but he's also been here for a very long time. He's one of our longer serving employees and worked his way from the bottom to middle management. And so Leo, you want to have some words to say?
Yeah, I would like to say that I've been working with the mosquito research for 29 years. And I would like to say is every time you see the plane out or the truck spraying, is a lot of work behind doors. This is not a decision that we just send trucks out. There's a lot of things involved, a lot of people involved, a lot of data collection. And like Kevin said, this is everyday work. I mean, we make decisions based on data collection, and every day midday, we meet together and make decisions what to pursue that evening. You know, if they decide to send the plane out, the trucks, etc. Yep. It's a lot of work behind doors. Yep.
And then one of the things too, Sandy, is, sometimes we also get calls. Oh my God, someone said that MRCU's in my yard and why are they there? Well, he's one of the people that has to deal with it, Andre. He wants to, appeal to the public and say, hey, we're legit.
Yes. I was seeing some of those calls coming in last week. Let's talk a little bit about that if we can, just to alleviate people's concerns. There was some concern in one neighborhood group. They were like, oh, are they allowed to do that? And I said, I'm sure if they weren't, they would not be in your yard. But Kevin, I know in the law, you guys are able to do that. But tell us a little bit about how your officers are out there doing their job. Do they work during certain times? Do they have on their government shirts and ID? I saw them drive around the vehicle. So it's not difficult to identify them, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, they will have MRCU written on their shirt. Everyone's always in a uniform. They don't always necessarily wear the government ID, but they're in a uniform. They're in our vehicles. Typically, they'll go and knock on the door and let people know, hey, I'm going to be there. But remember, they're also doing this when most people are at work in the daytime. It's called domestic inspections. And so, Andre, you want to just kind of share a little bit of, kind of what, how you carry out your function.
Yeah, most definitely. So, guys, as a DPO, disease prevention officer, 90% of the time whilst conducting yard surveillance, our main goal is to look for standing water, right? Because that's what mosquitoes breed in. So we'll go through your yard and search for buckets, plant pots, tires, etc., to try and control Aedes aegypti. And basically it's to mainly ensure and ascertain the breeding potential that your yard may have. And your yard may seem like it may not hold something, but trust me, we're trained to come in there and really look around there and identify the hazards for you. Yeah,
so tell us some of the things that you're actually looking for. I mean, standing water is pretty obvious, but
Right.
sometimes they're hiding out in other areas where you may not even recognize that there is a source of water or breeding ground for them. And so you're
Yeah,
really
precisely. A lot of the times, some of the ones that are not too obvious is they'll be in drains sometimes. Let's see, gutters, sometimes cracked septics. That's also a very big issue we've been running into lately. And you may even think, as simple as it is, you may even have like a little small bucket with some water in it, for your plants, etc., a little drum or something like that. And there'll be larvae in there. In a few days, if the water is, not mixed with any chemicals or anything like that inside of it.
Yes. And do they like certain plants? Speaking of plants, are there certain plants that deter them, and then certain plants that actually attract them as well?
Yes, actually, yes. So mosquitoes, believe it or not, are quite picky creatures, and like plants that tend to have strong scents, right? For instance, citrus, mint, citronella, those kind of trees like that. Mosquitoes really won't mess with them. But aquatic plants, quite obviously, they favor those. We have a species known as Vandusiae.
Yeah,
Wyamaya Vandusiae, which actually burrow into the roots and up some trees, right? And bromeliads, and also bromeliads.
Yeah, Soka was just mentioning bromeliads.
Yeah.
Oh, so they attract mosquitoes.
Bromeliads, yes.
Bromeliads do. And there's also an ornamental plant called lucky bamboo, and that's it's very commonplace to find Aedes aegypti. Now, Aedes aegypti is our main disease-transmitting mosquito here.
Yes.
It's the one that can give you dengue, it can give you Zika, chikungunya, a whole range of other viruses, and that really is the focal point of our DPO work, is that we're trying to control what's called a domestic mosquito. It's called domestic because it's found breeding in and around people's houses. It doesn't travel very far, but it breeds in any container in your yard that can hold water. It could be a natural container like a coconut shell. They can even breed, if there's water in a bottle top, this mosquito can breed in that. Children's toys are another common place. Now, from a health point of view, the public can really help us with this particular mosquito just by surveying their own yards once a week, just looking for any containers that can hold water. Now, really, with the other mosquito you saw, the Aedes teniorhynchus, the public's main help of us there would just be to be patient when it comes off after rain or high tides. It's going to take MRCU just a couple of days to get things back under control. There's no way of avoiding that, and the public can't really assist us with that mosquito other than stay out of its way while it's active. It's active it's very specific in its time, and it's active 15 minutes after sunset for a 2-hour period.
And on that note, Sandy, when we are doing like our ground fogging, that's when the trucks are going out there fogging, as well as when the airplane is flying in the evening, we start those operations 15 minutes after sunset. So when folks want to know, when we're doing that, because some people don't want to be outside when those operations are going on, we do have several platforms that we actually use to inform the public. So we post it on our Facebook and LinkedIn page. I'm also going to send you, Sandy, a link, if you could post that in the chat for me, which is our WhatsApp channel. We've launched a WhatsApp channel recently where we will also post information there. And then sometime in the not so distant future, we don't know the actual launch date because we're still testing it out, but we are also going to be launching a app that you can download from the store that will allow you to also get notifications as well. But we're not quite ready for launching that. We still have to work out a few bugs and stuff. But once that is ready for download, we will certainly make sure that we let everyone know that that's available to download. But in the meantime, we ask that everyone please follow our WhatsApp channel. I just sent it to you. You can post that in the chat for me, Sandy, as well as our Facebook and LinkedIn pages.
Yes. Okay. There's the link. Strong Will says, Sandy, they love to be in the grass. Miss Lucille, good morning. It says, tell Kevin these days was good. We don't have money for destroyer. They fall from the breadfruit trees to make up our smoke pan.
Yeah.
So back in the old days, I guess that was their method of mosquito control. Good morning to Fresh Joe.
And Dr. Wheeler had something he wanted to add as well.
Yeah, I was just going to add that the comment about the mosquitoes loving to be in the grass, that's one particular species, and it's our biggest mosquito. It's called a Saurophora mosquito. It's a grass breeder, and it will sit and wait in the grass until someone walks past, and then it will bite you any time of the day. We get a lot of complaints about that mosquito, just due to the sheer size of it.
Wow. Okay. Now, someone has shared a picture with us, and I want the young man there who does the site visits to take a look at this. I'm sure he runs across these types of situations all the time. So we have here someone who is saying that this is their cesspool that their contractor dug 9 months ago, and it's still like this. And she says that it's a breeding ground. She goes on to say that this is a government project and the ball has been dropped so many times. They're building a low-income home on my land. Oh my Lord. So when things like this are happening, you know, how do you help people? What suggestions and recommendations? Obviously, this is a huge problem.
Well, looking at it there, you said it's a dugout cesspool, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's deep like that, we use tablets called Natural DT. We put them in there, we pop in probably 2 or 3 inside of something like that. But the species that you're mainly going to be dealing with from that is going to be Culex or probably Anopheles, because now it's technically a permanent water source. You know, it's a hole with deep water. So for that, you're going to definitely need to either, if you want it permanently gone, you're going to need to either cover it, or I would suggest they get it filled or drained. I'm not really even sure, you know, but for us, for the mosquito control aspect, we can definitely put some chemical in there to deter larvae and any mosquitoes from breeding inside of there.
So one of the best ways to get rid of a mosquito source is one component of what we call an integrated mosquito management program is source reduction. That's the best way to get rid of a breeding site. And a lot of our DPOs, as they're out, they'll do that. If they can empty a container out without applying any product, that's the best way to do it. So, you know, temporarily, yes, you know, the public can let us know about sites like this, and we can help and we can treat, you know, while we're looking for maybe a more permanent solution to get rid of it. But please call us and let us know of any questions.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, we do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Yes, I live at 16 Heaven Close, Stonewall Road. About 2 months, this pit is busting in the yard, and I cannot believe that we are paying our rent and the landlord not doing nothing. The yard is so stink.
So you said the cistern has burst in the yard.
Yes, and over 2 months, and she's collecting rent. And when we talk, she come like she want to fight.
Okay. So, I see what you're saying, but this isn't directly related to mosquitoes, or I guess this mosquitoes might be attracted to what's coming out of the cistern as well.
Yeah, out of the pit, and the place is very stink.
Okay. All right. I tell you what, we're gonna give you just send me a WhatsApp number with your call, because I think we have a couple issues coming out of this, which we will discuss after our guests have left the studio. But let me ask them a mosquito related question in relation to that, and then send me your number and we'll call you back as well. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, ma'am. Just send it on the WhatsApp. Don't give out your number in the air.
Okay. All
right. Thanks, dear.
Yeah.
All righty. All right. So, busted cistern would definitely be a source, I would assume, of, you know, mosquitoes being very attracted to that situation.
Oh, and hey, Sandy, I noticed there was a comment from a Jaheim Hales asking what is daily life in the lab like, and he's a science student. So I actually started at MRCU as an intern back in 2017 after my freshman year of university. I worked as an intern for about 4 summers after that, and then I actually started as a temporary DPO and then a full-time DPO, so I did Andre's job as well. And then now I actually just started as a research officer. And in the lab, it's honestly a lot of fun. So there's a certain amount of staff go out and collect the traps in the morning, and then as Whitney and Storm are doing right now, So they would go and collect and then count them, as you can see. Everest is actually back there calibrating pipettes, which we use for all kinds of scientific experiments. They're really fancy things that can pick up very small quantities of water when we're trying to get really small quantities of chemical formulated stuff like that. Other stuff we do a lot of research projects. We're actually just starting up our research program. Or starting up reinvigorating our research program. And we got a brand new senior research officer who's really, really smart and really good at his job. So stuff is looking up in the lab. And yeah, for a suggestion for him, if he would want to go, is maybe try the next summer around, try and get in some of the internship programs and see if you can apply it to here. And have a couple folks in the lab for the summer.
Wow. Okay. So that's fantastic. So there's lots of opportunities there, Jahim, for employment, internships, and so on. Dee Dee has a question. So she says, I have a question. At times I can be amongst others and it's only me that they bite. Why does this happen? Can you give me any info on why this happens if possible? So there's actually now more and more scientific research that is coming out about why mosquitoes are attracted to certain people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So mosquitoes are attracted on humans with, I think it's 4 main things. So you got CO2, carbon dioxide, basically when you're exhaling, they can smell that and they follow that. Body temperature is another one. So if you've just worked out and you take a break or something, they're more likely to approach you. Certain people, now why certain people are different is because everybody's body's different and they smell different things in your sweat. There's a couple different compounds that they go for. Also, there has been some stuff on blood type, but it's not very conclusive. And then also a darker colored clothing they like a lot too. They prefer darker colored clothing. And yeah, certain fragrances as well, like sweet smelling stuff, because all mosquitoes actually have to eat sugar in order to survive. And only the females bite humans. So they take a meal for their eggs. They just need the proteins from your blood to make their eggs.
Yeah, so there's a whole interesting thing. I'll post this. It was in the science.com online publication, but you're absolutely right. Everything from your skin microbes to, if you are sweeter, you're tastier to them. In fact, some new research has really been supporting that, and your body temperatures and so on. So possibly, you're just delicious to the mosquitoes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and apparently different types of mosquitoes they're attracted by different things as well. So the best way, though, to prevent a mosquito bite is to simply arm yourself with a good mosquito spray.
Yeah, well, the best way as well, too, is that source reduction that Chris was talking about. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of getting bit, it's good to try to avoid being outdoors at certain times when they're really biting more. But we also understand that that's not 100% practical with the lives we live. We're busy people. So yes, we want to try to reduce the time if possible. But if not, mosquito spray that contains DEET is one of those things that some people can wear. But not everyone wants to put that on their bodies as well, which we understand. So you don't have to kind of adjust your lives based on how you want to live it. So I got a couple videos, Sandy, that I would love to also show that kind of shows some more of the research that goes on, because again, we really care about our environment and make sure that we're not causing any significant environmental impacts. And again, we always want to make sure that we're doing things correctly. We never want anyone to point a finger at the MRCU saying it's because of you all I got X, Y, and Z. So one of the things that we do is something called an insecticide droplets characterization test. And so I'm going to go ahead and just play this video that kind of shows how we identify exactly, that we're doing things correctly.
Here we just finished one more research of MRCU, the Mosquito Research and Control Unit. We are testing now the droplet size and intensity and frequency that we beat the soil. So we measure the wind, we have these spinners, which is our equipment that skipping, rounding, and collecting these droplets, and then we go to the lab to check. So we can measure and guarantee an accurate treatment, safe and efficient for the environment.
So here we are with our slides from the field. We are reading them under the microscope with the UV light. There's a fluorescent dye on the chemical that was on the slides, and now we're reading it with the software to get accurate readings on the size of the droplets.
So one reason we do this is to find the proper droplet size. If droplets are too small, they can drift out of the target area and not kill the mosquito, or they could carry a sublethal dose of product that could help build up resistance in the mosquito if it doesn't kill the mosquito. Droplets that are too big are not going to drift through the target area. They may go right to the ground, and that's not good because you could potentially impact beneficial insects or non-targets that are foraging in the area.
All right, so there you go. Kevin, I just had muted your mic for a second there, so I was getting some feedback. But very, very interesting to know how much science is behind all of this. I think, you know, we kind of had some ideas in our head in terms of how this works, but I'm not so sure that we understood that there's a lot of science behind what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, when I first took on this new job, I was like so amazed at what was going on behind the scenes. I had no clue. Literally, I thought, just like probably most people thought, that we pretty much just the MRCU would just go out and just spray and everything. I had no clue that we had so much science going on behind the scenes. Now I definitely appreciate the hard work that goes on.
Wow. So Weewee says that there's a house behind her home. They have going on like a party in Windsor Park. It's a dirty pit water. So I don't know what the pit water is being used for. But tell us now, when you have a situation like Weewee and the other person, where there is a source of, you know, stagnant water, how can they reach out to your team there at MRCU to have them do a site inspection? And do you just treat the water, or do you also work in conjunction with maybe the planning department, DEH, to see if certain properties, especially if they're derelict properties, are not being kept up to standard, how you can help get rid of the source of the breeding ground?
I'll start off with part of the question, then I go to Dr. Wheeler to kind of follow up. So in terms of contacting us, so mrcu@gov.ky, if you email us, that is one way. You can also give us a phone call. Again, just Google our number. Most people can't probably just remember it if I spit it out, but just Google the number, MRCU, you'll be able to get it. As well as if you message us on our social media platforms, I definitely monitor that and I'll pass that information on. If you see our disease prevention officers out and about in the community, you could report it to them and they will bring that data back to Leo, and Leo will make sure that that is also logged. And as well, what people could also do in the future is download our app, and then there will be a way that they could report it from the app. But again, that is in the future, not so distant future that is, but that is something that is coming on. And then I'll pass it on to Dr. Wheeler for the other part of the question.
I think the second part of the question, yeah, we do work closely with other departments, public health and departments of environmental health. If we find a yard or residence that's giving us a persistent problem that we're unable to deal with, then we will seek assistance from one of these other departments to deal with the situation.
All right, very good. So Zoe has some recommendations here. Zoe Foster says plant orange jessamine. Mariah, oh gosh, Zoe, you're getting too scientific. Basically, lemongrass, she says, place in water storage. And the example, others are lemon bay rum, citronella plants. So that's why you have the citronella candle, because obviously citronella works to repel them. Lantana, rosemary, and she's given a link here where you can find some good mosquito repellent plants. I think the key thing here for sure, and she's also making some recommendations and how you can make some homemade rosemary clove spray. And she says that it works. So listen, folks, there's lots of options available. And I think what you want to do, even when you're looking at your landscaping, is you don't want to plant things, obviously, that are going to attract mosquitoes. You want to do the opposite. And then you do have some amazing, sort of home remedies here that you can use to keep them away from you. And the great thing too, Zoe, about this is even commercially on the market, there are some, you know, sort of environmentally friendly and human friendly products that you can now get as well. So very good.
And Sandy, I also have one other video, my last video that I want to play, but this is someone like Andre's team, when he's out, the disease prevention officers, going and doing yard surveillance. And this video also somewhat highlights, I know the radio listeners can't see it, but please go back and watch it later on. It's also posted, will be posted on our social media site, but pages that is. But it shows kind of different things that people just have in their yards, that some of the things that they're looking for.
Okay, so currently we're conducting yard surveillance in order to ascertain the breeding potential in the individual yards here. Over here, what I've noticed is we have this boat here holding standing water, and it was breeding Aegypti, Aedes aegypti, dengue fever mosquito. So we went ahead here and administered some Natural R G30 to go ahead here and get rid of this larva here. So we just mainly conducting some yard surveillance to make sure everything is copacetic.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, that's, you know, some of the things that our disease prevention officers are doing out there. Again, they do swamp inspections, so you know they put on their big old boots and go up inside that muck and get dirty as well. There's another part of MRCU that I also want to make sure that we highlight is, you know, yes, we use chemicals and stuff, but there's also a green aspect, and Andre actually is on a committee, and he could kind of talk more about that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's called the MRCU Environmental Sustainability Initiative. So basically, we're focusing on making everything greener and to sustain and preserve the environment for the future generations to come. What I'm doing here at MRCU, we actually have a green team, and what we do is we have monthly meetings and we discuss all of the things that we can change and implement in order to save energy, to, you know, we look at the chemicals, etc., which I would like to say are quite ecologically sensitive despite the common conception. However, we still work forward with the green team here. All of our lighting, all of our equipment is running on renewable energy. We're actually looking forward to getting some solar panels, you know, and it really works out nicely because, as I said before, we really want to try to sustain things and keep everything moving forward, you know, preserving our island. Right.
Wow, beautiful. Well, Kevin, people are very, very interested in today's topic. This person says their job looks so interesting. I want to switch jobs. And I did the little emoji face. I'm like, oh my God. This person is a school teacher. I'm like, don't switch jobs. We need teachers.
Well, I'm going to be coming to the schools very soon because this stuff is exciting. I did not really, like I said, before I took on this position, I didn't realize how much amazing things is going on behind the scenes. And I was never really that big into science in school, but I guess the teachers at the time were making it as exciting as it can be. But my goodness, the scientists and stuff that I work with here, it's amazing. And I think Dr. Wheeler had something he wanted to chip in on.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about some of the other aspects of our control as well. It's not just chemical control that we do. We have a biological control component with our Gambusia fish. They're widespread across the island now. I think back in the 70s and 80s, they were actually dropped out of helicopters in bags to seed the whole island with these mosquito fish. They're very effective at controlling mosquito larvae. We also do something called physical control. You go up to Barkers, you'll see all our canals and dike roads. They were all constructed to manipulate water levels, which allows MRCU to basically flood an area of swamp to hatch the eggs. And then once those eggs have hatched, we will open the floodgates and all the water will flow out, taking the mosquito larvae with it. So it's a very cheap and effective way of controlling mosquito larvae, and it's very environmentally friendly. I think one of the misconceptions of MRCU as well is that, you know, we just randomly pour out chemicals, whereas most of the people in the department here, if not all the people, are very environmentally friendly. We care about the environment, and that's why we're always looking at new ways to improve the safety of what we're doing. That's why we've started the Green Team. We really do care about the environment and the impact we're having on it. So mosquito control is needed, but it needs to be done in a way that's sustainable and friendly to the environment. We don't want to be affecting any other insects or animals with our control operations.
Yes. All right, a few questions coming in. This person says, if property owners have stuff that's harboring the mosquitoes, do they notify the owners to get rid of the danger? So again, this kind of goes back, I think, to the question that I was asking earlier. What other agencies do you work in collaboration with, and do you actually post notifications for the property owners to let them know that they've got something on site that is harboring the mosquitoes?
Yeah, so the different agencies that we do work with, the Department of Environmental Health, as well as if DOE sometimes might be potentially in there. There's also public health. So, we're part of the government, we're a department within the government, so we do have different peer agencies depending on what the actual issue is that we will be able to liaise on. But the first thing is communicate the issue with us, or whichever department you think is the most appropriate. And if it's not exactly our area, we will certainly help you forward it on to another agency that might be the responsible agency. So everything is, has to be looked at individually. It's not like a one-size-fits-all type of thing. We have to kind of know the details, put our eyeballs on it, and then from there we can make a recommendation. And of course, sometimes just us talking to, someone could help. It could take care of it from that point, or it could mean that someone else has to talk to that person or the person that controls that property. So everything's case by case.
All right. We do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning to Mosquito Resorts. I need a big amount.
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
Doing not too bad. They're doing a fantastic job. Up in here, I don't have too much problem right now, but when they come out, all I got to do is call Leo. Big up to him, and he's on way to all the early players that want him have to move to Florida because somebody called me. But up in prone as a mosquito thing, but that's one thing I could say with Leo. Anytime I call, he's tell me the plane coming out, or he's sending that truck up in him. So big up to him. Doing a very good job.
Well, I know where they went. They didn't go to Florida. Mr. Goodlook said apparently they traveled all the way to the UK because
somebody got almost ate in their yard the other day. They said that's the most mosquito. And I said, well, they first pick up. Then they say, yeah, from one drought they had down in compound and now it's down water and they must be harbored. But every I goes outside and anything that I see, like that boat, whoever that was, they should have turned that boat over because yes, if it get water, it can have a mosquitoes. If I got a little pan out there and I see water in it, I turn it up because it do have a mosquitoes. What's wrong with people?
Well, thank you so much, Michelle. We appreciate it.
And they could be bad. Then the saltwater gym can sting for months.
Thank you, my dear. All
Yeah,
right.
it's so important to every week, just take a walk around your property. Anything, any water in, turn it over. It's very simple. Just one time a week, we're asking, just do that, and that's going to help everybody. And most likely, if you are bitten by a mosquito, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, most likely it's in your yard that mosquito was born, or your neighbor's yard. They do not travel very far. It's 100 meters. That's all they go. 100 meters is not very far. So if you are getting bit at your home from a mosquito born in your home, you're the one responsible for it.
All right. Urban Thread says, good morning, Miss Sandy and the MRCU panel. Apologies if this question has already been asked. Can the panel advise why does the mosquito spraying via plane happens very early in the evening? For example, persons are either exercising or in their yards and are really not sure if the spray is toxic. So let's talk about this because, we grew up back in the day hearing that when you heard that plane coming, you ran inside and took cover under the bed. So, I know there's a reason why you time it. So let's answer that first. Why do you do it at the time of the evenings that you do it? And sometimes you do it in the mornings as well?
Yes, we can do it in the morning. This mosquito species, the main nuisance mosquito, Aedes aegypti, it's very specific on its activity.
Right.
It's active 15 minutes after sunset, typically for a 2-hour period. It can be out longer than that if the numbers are really high. So our control operations are timed to coincide with the peak activity in a mosquito. So it's an early evening peak, 15 minutes after sunset, and also 15 minutes before sunrise. So we have 2 opportunities a day to target it. The early evening peak is bigger, and that's why we send the aircraft up at that time. It's
right.
There's also physics concerns about droplets. They have to leave the aircraft and drop to the ground. Now, if it's in the daytime, heat rising from the ground will take the droplets away from the ground. So that's another consideration of why we can't spray in the daytime. But
Yeah, and there are 2 things, the 2 terms that we want people to get familiar with: this larviciding and adulticiding. So adulticiding, those are for adult mosquitoes, flying mosquitoes, mosquitoes that are mature enough to fly around and bite us. So the way we control those type of mosquitoes are different than larviciding. So when we're doing adulticiding, that is typically done, again, when you see that aircraft flying right after 15 minutes after sunset, or when the foggers are going out doing the ground operations. That is when we're adulticiding. Larviciding is when we're dropping from the aircraft, more or less, these little pellets into the swamps. That's not spraying blanket all over the place. That is specifically, we have GPS on a different technology on the aircraft that knows where our swamp locations are, and that is dropping these little droplets into the swamps to kill juvenile mosquitoes, which is when they're in the larvae state, and then that stops them from becoming adults.
Something else I'd like to mention too, sometimes I've seen in my past experience in mosquito control, aerial mosquito control can get a bad reputation because you see agricultural type spraying where they're spraying right over the tops of products, and they're spraying gallons per acre that they want to get on that plant. Well, we don't want our product to deposit on anything, so we may spray. Our application rate is reduced to the point where we're putting out less than the amount you would see in a shot glass over an entire acre. So less than 1 ounce per acre. And only a part of that product, only a part of that ounce is actual product. The rest is a diluent, which in our case is water. So we really reduce that application rate in really, really small droplets that are smaller than the size of a human hair. So small droplets that are designed to only impact that flying mosquito. So the application rate is really reduced, and we are only targeting that flying mosquito. And when you're applying it the right way at the right time of day, there's really no unreasonable adverse risk to any humans or non-targets the way it's being applied.
And that goes back to the first video that I played with the characterization. So the way that we make sure that we are doing it based on what we are targeting is by having those spinners that you saw in that video, where we do a test run of them dropping over an open field. And then based on that, they bring those little samples back to the lab. They look at it through the little microscope. And then based on the size of the droplet, we know that whether it's too big or if it's too small, or if it's in that range that we are saying this is a success.
And then in terms of what's in the pellets from a health perspective, I know you said that obviously, it's been signed off as safe. Are there any concerns? I know years ago there were concerns or being raised about exactly what chemicals were in those. So can you address that a little bit to help alleviate some of our concerns today?
Okay, I'll talk about the main chemicals, our main larvicides. Probably the most environmentally friendly of all the chemicals we use would be a chemical called Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis. Now, that's a bacteria that is very specific to mosquitoes and other flies. So it has zero effect on humans. It will not kill beetles or butterflies or any other insects. It's so specific to what are called dipteran flies. So that one is probably the safest of all our products. That's a larvicide. Then the majority of our insecticide budget is spent on two chemicals. One of them is called spinosad, which is, it's really a sugar. It was first discovered in an abandoned rum distillery in Jamaica. It's a sugar that is toxic to mosquitoes. Again, it's not toxic to humans. The third most common product we use, larvicide-wise, is called methoprene. Now, this is a mosquito hormone. It works by mosquitoes to develop from a larvae to an adult. The level of this hormone must drop. So what we do is we put out in our pellets more hormones so they stay as larvae. They don't develop into functional adults. So again, that has it's not going to have any bad effects on humans. And they're all considered to be biorational mosquito control products in that they are the most environmentally friendly and safest chemicals available. So now our adulticides, every adulticide we use has been approved by the US Environmental Protection Agency. And we continually look at our products. We make sure that we have them characterized correctly, so we've got the right droplet size going out. We make sure that all our applications are within what the label, every chemical will have a label that mandates exactly how you're able to apply it. We are in full compliance with those product labels. And that's why it's so every chemical, we are continually working towards any new products that come out. We evaluate them in terms of safety and operational effectiveness. So there's a lot of background work with the chemicals that we choose, and we do choose primarily on safety.
All right, so we do have a comment that came in. This person said, I'm really happy to see all the Caymanians involved and hear them speak about this topic. They're going to say good morning. It's nice to hear Andre, Storm, and Kevin speaking. Of course, the others as well. But to see our people involved and sharing their knowledge is awesome.
Hey, cool. Yeah, too now. Hey,
sorry, who else was that?
Cool.
They got as well. Exactly. So another comment coming in here from Kelly. Kelly says a huge thank you to all of the incredible staff at the MRCU for the amazing work they do every day. Your dedication and hard work are truly appreciated by everyone. Keep up the good work. So I think that today should be, instead of it being World Mosquito Day, it should be, appreciation of the workers that are out there, all of you that are doing your individual parts that collectively make sure that we can try to keep mosquitoes under control. Many years ago, I was reading a book. I forget what the title of it was, but it was like all these facts things that you just didn't know that was so incredibly interesting. And one of the things that said about mosquitoes is that the number of mosquitoes that have, or the number of people that have died from mosquito-borne diseases, so we're talking about everything that they put out there, is more people than all of the world wars and everything combined. So, more than like World War I, World War II, like the major civil wars, because mosquitoes carry so many different diseases that impact humans in particular, and even our dogs and stuff as well. So the control of mosquitoes is extremely important, obviously.
Yeah, and Dr. Wheeler had something he wants to add in there.
Yeah, I'd just like to give a shout out to our frontline workers, the disease prevention officers. These guys are out in the field every day. They're out in the hot sunshine doing really physical demanding work. They're entering into yards they're at risk from dog bites and other dangers. So I'd just like them to know how much we appreciate them.
Yes, absolutely. And it just turns out that those little critters, as small as they are really, such amazing transmitters of infectious diseases. And I just had a little bit of a list here. I want to remind people of exactly what mosquitoes do. Obviously, they bite you, so they're literally drinking blood. And then, they can pass that on to other individuals. And we're talking about everything from malaria, dengue fever, West Nile virus, chikungunya, yellow fever, Zika. What are some of the other major ones that I'm missing out here? And the new ones that we're watching now, they were on the show yesterday talking about, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of it now.
Arapucci.
Yes, the Arapucci virus as well. So that's another one that, mosquitoes are obviously out there transmitting. So roughly 390 million people are infected every single year with dengue, and hundreds of thousands of others are infected by Zika, chickpea, and yellow fever. And then there's all these other things. So they do their job extremely well. Let's put it that way. Of carrying, these mosquito-borne diseases, really.
Yeah, for sure. See, right now in the dengue, if you look at what's going on in the region, just kind of Google it, and you'll see, a lot of places are having a terrible time with it. It's really at the highest levels. And this is, if you just go to the worldmosquitoprogram.org, and I do have that pulled up right now. It says 2024 is the worst year for dengue cases on record, and there have been more than 11 million cases reported from 80 countries. And so, we do have to keep a good eye on it. Mosquito-borne illnesses, just like you were saying, Sandy, killed more than 1 million people, infect up to 700 million each year. So, when it comes to what Cayman is doing, we are doing an excellent job at keeping our residents safe. But again, we could only do so much at MRCU. There's a large part of it is really those at home taking away anything from causing additional mosquitoes from breeding. Like I said, the mosquitoes that typically carry those diseases, the Aedes aegypti, that is born in people's backyards, right in their own properties, at home, or even their neighbors. So if you see a neighbor that has a yard that needs to clean up, and I hope you have a good relationship with your neighbor, speak to them, explain to them, you want to reduce our chances of getting bit by mosquitoes? Let's do a weekly cleanup. And I think Cole had something he wanted to add.
Oh yeah, just pertaining to those two species we got. So Aedes aegypti, obviously the dengue fever mosquito, they behave differently. So you got Aedes aegypti and Aedes tenurensis. So Aedes tenurensis, that common one that's all over the place, I equate it more to like an angry pit bull. Like it's gonna rush at you and bite you. It's not really gonna think about it. The aegypti, they're almost crafty. Like I don't know if you've noticed you get bit on your ankles or your lower leg. Where's the least likely place you're gonna smack? Like they go there and they meander their way. They don't really fly straight to you. They kind of go like, take their time. They're really slow. And then you almost don't even notice until after they're there. And
They're
then,
stealth.
yeah, they're very stealthy.
Wow. So Inspiring has a question. My goodness, looks like you guys are going to be here all morning, but I know you've got work to do. So we're going to start to wrap it up a little bit. But Inspiring says, question, what are the emerging threats in terms of mosquito-borne diseases due to climate change or other global factors? So that's a very good question. Are you seeing, I think because you have better control mechanisms, you're able to do more, but do you think that climate change and these other, elements are having some impact on the ability for mosquitoes to reproduce more effectively and quicker, probably?
Development is one of them. Well, they're developing faster. Also, just changes in weather patterns. Like last year was a very bad year for us. Due primarily to the change in rainfall patterns. Normally we have a dry season that runs from December to May. We didn't get that last year. We had rain the whole time. And every time it rains, more mosquitoes come off. If we don't kill those mosquitoes straight away, each one that survives can lay 100 eggs. So the next time round, the problem is 100-fold bigger. So yeah, environmental changes are a big concern to us. There's also re-emerging diseases. Dengue is considered to be a re-emerging disease. There's all sorts of other viruses coming over, or approaches in the region this year. Yeah, environmental changes in environmental patterns do affect mosquitoes and mosquito control.
And Dr. Wheel mentioned tides. And so, recently the tides has been pretty low, but from what I understand and when I'm hearing the conversations amongst the teams as we, are talking about what's going on around the islands, I believe the tides are coming up a little bit. So what does that mean?
The tides are coming up right now, which means there's always an egg, what we call an egg bank. There's eggs out in the swamp and other areas that are just waiting to be flooded to hatch. So it could be flooded by rain or tides. Now, the tides have been coming up for probably 4 or 5 days now. So we're expecting mosquitoes to come off. But in the background, we have been conducting our larvicide operation. So we've completed the peninsula. We've done north side. We're trying to get most of the island protected before any mosquito emergence happens. So this is what we call preventative mosquito control. The public don't see this work going on in the background.
Yeah, but they might have noticed the planes flying in the daytime instead of after sunset. Remember, 15 minutes after sunset is when, we're doing the adultifying operations with the aircraft and the ground foggers. But when you see the aircraft flying in the middle of the daytime, that is called, the plane was doing larva sighting. So if you looked at our Facebook page, I think last week or the week before, you'd have seen me post some stuff about the operations going on throughout the day in the West Bay area. And then over the weekend on Friday and Saturday, we had stuff going on Eastern area. Now, today and yesterday, Leo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're doing some parts of Town, correct?
Yeah, Town area. We analyzed the area today.
Yeah.
Yes. So Miss Cayman Kind here, this is Ramelia asking that they have 2 ponds in Windsor Park, and she's wondering if they're being visited on a regular basis.
So ponds, Leo,
well, the best approach is the person. I suggest the person that call us, give us the exact location, and we're going to send somebody to look for it.
But in the pond, we know where all the ponds are in Cayman. I mean, the ponds didn't just come up yesterday or anything like that. So anytime there's any body of water and stuff, yes, they're on our maps and they go into way into the dikes and other areas. And the areas that we can't reach by foot, again, can be taken care of by the aircraft. So again, in terms of the geography, we certainly know the terrain quite well, and so things are definitely carried out in those areas.
So I'll add this too. Each individual location, we need to visit because they can have some specific nuances. But ponds in general aren't necessarily the where your mosquitoes are coming from. A pond may have other natural predators such as fish or frogs, or you may get some wave action through there that doesn't, isn't conducive to larval development. So a larger pond may not actually be a place where many mosquitoes are breeding. You may get more mosquitoes from a really small area than you would a large pond. Well, that's not to say we wouldn't inspect it.
Yes. Okay. Melita says, Sandy, please ask why the spray smells like guava. I've never noticed it, but anyway, does it have a guava smell to it?
Yeah, I have heard that too. That's probably more of a question for the chemical manufacturer, not a.
All right. Fear No Evil says, please come by house number 25 in Windsor Park, Oak Mill Street. There's a house with pit water. I have a lot of mosquitoes there, and it's stinking out the whole place. So there's a request that maybe, Kevin, you could write down number 25 in Windsor Park, Oak Mill Street. So thank you, Fear No Evil. Shaka Zulu says, don't forget that our forefathers used to talk about mosquitoes have legendary, talk about Cayman having legendary mosquitoes that used to kill cows back in the day. Well, Shaka, you might have just been joining the show, but Kevin shared a picture and told us a very, very interesting fact that Cayman has the record. Here it is again, in case you guys miss it. Cayman has the record for the most number of mosquitoes collected overnight, I guess, is really what the record is. But look at this. Over 793, is that a 93? Mosquitoes were collected back in, it looks like May the 29th of 1974.
Yeah, that's 793,103.
Yes. I'm sorry, I forgot to read the rest of the number. Right, over 793,000. So yeah, those stories are not just legendary. It seems to me that they were in fact quite factual. So Mel here, animal lover, she said she did not appreciate the analogy regarding the pit bull. She's also a pit bull lover.
I did angry. They'll go straight for you. Trust me, I've ran from people's yards before.
Yeah.
All right. Mary says, so happy to have you guys on this morning. They should give the public a better understanding. This should give the public, a better understanding and appreciation for what they do. Keep up the amazing work to all.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing now, Sandy. They realize that, all this amazing work going on in the background, people didn't know about it. I certainly didn't even know about it. Yeah. And so when this opportunity came up for me, as you all know, I'm a very passionate communicator. I love to inform people about whatever it is that I'm working on. Yes, and so I wanted to make sure that I am bringing these voices. I mean, I'm not the subject matter expert. That's why I brought in the subject matter experts. And I just help them share the wonderful, amazing work that they're doing for the Cayman Islands. again, we will not have a tourism product, and I'm stealing this from Leo because he told me this when he was giving me kind of the lay of the land on operations. We would not have a tourism product if we didn't have the MRCU, because the mosquitoes would be too bad. Nobody would want to come here. Remember, if you go back in Cayman history and stuff, they talked about, people wasn't going to come to the Cayman Islands because that was mosquito land practically. And so, from where we were to where we are now, it's just night and day.
Yeah.
A comment as well, Sandy, is that we were founded in 1967, and it's always been a great control operation here. It's always been respected. But our biggest weakness, like every organization has a weak area, and it's been our public education and outreach. We've always, as a department, we've kept our head low because people either love us or hate us. We're spraying too much or we're not spraying enough.
Uh-oh. Somehow the connection got lost there. So we still have the lab. I'm sure Kevin will jump back on here in a second. So they're sitting there doing their mosquito analysis. Wow, it's so fascinating to actually see them. I'm glad that Kevin actually set up a little camera connection there in the lab so that we can actually see them hard at work, so that again, a little bit more about what they do. So Kevin, just jump back on. Looks like your connection dropped out. And then we're gonna wrap up here with him once he's back on with the team. So what is that little green thing? Can we inquire about what that green thing is? There. Oh, I think you, I don't know if you can unmute yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is that?
This green thing here is one of our mosquito traps.
Oh, that's what the trap looks like. Okay.
So
wow.
We have 24 on island, and they're out in various spots, usually closer to the bush where there's less light. I don't know if you can tell, there's a little bulb in here.
Yes.
And we connect the bottle to the end of it, and when the sun goes down, it runs off of solar. And there's a fan that runs inside of it. So the mosquitoes are attracted to the light, and then they go down into the fan, into the bottle.
It kind of works like so they're attracted to the light, and then they get sucked down the fan, kind of like a suction, like a vacuum cleaner, and then they end up in these little bottles right here, if you can see it. Yeah. And then that's what we count. Yeah.
That's fascinating. So every day you guys collect the 24 that are out there, and you start to count and separate and analyze what you found in the mosquito trap. Wow.
Every day.
How many do you think, just based on, have you gotten to the point where you can kind of look at the numbers now and say to yourself, I bet this is roughly this many in this trap? Are you that good at counting yet?
Yes, we can kind of look at it and tell, but we will always go through to make sure.
Yes.
Just to make sure.
All right. Okay, so I know the connection there for some reason dropped out, your main connection. So I see your boss there jumping in on your stream. You can share.
I'm just letting you know, we're working on the other side trying to get things connected.
Yeah. How often do you go in the lab?
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah, every day. Okay.
It won't come back, Sandy. I don't know what's going on, but
wanted to force you guys to come in the lab.
Our conference room. So we've all decided to walk on over. I'm glad that we have this stream at least going.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the gentleman in the back in the lab coat and the gloves, what exactly are you doing back there? I see you with a little syringe, and it looks like you're having fun.
Yeah, so this is called a pipette. I'm just doing calibration. It's an instrument used to pick small volumes of liquids that we use for our lab analysis.
Oh, okay.
I'm just doing a calibration, making sure it's well maintained and it's working well, and you can pick the small volumes. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Oh my gosh. So Inspiring says, is it difficult to count? I mean, they must be all mashed up. So are you able to separate them to count them individually? How easy is that part?
I guess for a person who isn't used to it, it can be quite difficult. However,
Yeah.
since we do this every day, it becomes a bit therapeutic, really,
Yeah.
to do it every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Whitney spoke, but her mom actually used to
Yeah.
work here, and
For 40 years.
well, yeah. So Whitney,
Oh
did
my
you tell us
God.
about your history and your mom's history here?
Yes. So my mom worked at MRCU for 40 years,
Uh-huh.
and she was taught how to identify mosquitoes by the late Dr. Giglioli. So it is definitely some knowledge that has been passed down from generation to generation.
Yes.
Myself and Storm, we would be considered third generation counters.
Yes.
So it's like what Storm was saying. It's definitely therapeutic for her and I. Sometimes we have to laugh because we're having so much fun that sometimes we forget to separate, like, work from just talking to each other while
Yeah.
it's a really good environment here. It really is.
Huh. Wow. That's pretty cool. Any music in the background there to help, or you just stay focused and counting?
Actually, we do listen to music. We actually do listen to music in the lab. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, we want to really thank all of you this morning. I think definitely our audience, I can tell. I was saying to Kevin that, Kevin, your numbers were impressive this morning in terms of viewer numbers, because sometimes when we get into a bit more of an educational discussion, we see the numbers kind of taper off a little bit. But your numbers continually increase this morning. I think at one point you had close to 350 on the live stream of people just, just interested really in the discussion and learning as much as they can on what is World Mosquito Day. So big shout out to MRCU, Dr. Alan Wheeler. He is a PhD and director over there, and the entire team. Everybody has a very, very important role to play in keeping all the elements of this moving. And congratulations, Kevin. Of course, a lot of people are like, wait a minute, Kevin's back in Cayman. So
yes, I was just telling some friends that now they're going to really realize that I've moved back. I'm no longer at the University of South Florida. I'm no longer in Florida. Dr. Wheeler was gracious enough to offer me this position, and so again the Public Education Outreach Officer for MRCU, and so I'm here. I'm back home. I'm glad to be home, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of me. And again, thank you for allowing us to come on and share the amazing work that's going on. I really love working with this team. The team has so many different elements to it, and everybody does such an amazing job. And really and truly, they make my job so much easier because everyone seems to be on fire about what they do. And so I'm there to bring their work to you.
Absolutely. And we'll continue to look out for your outreach programs.
One other kind of closing thing, this is only a small part of our team. The really important part of our team, they're the ones that are out in the field working right now. Our pilots are up in there doing some applications, and our DPOs, they're out in the field doing home inspections. So I want to make sure to give them a shout out too.
Yeah, wonderful. So Marina says, what a lovely bunch of professional people keeping us safe. And so on that note, again, we want to thank all of you very, very much. Kevin, let's just go around the room and name everyone else for me. Name everyone again.
In the corner here, you got to scoot on in, Dr. Wheeler. Dr. Alan Wheeler is the director of the MRCU, and I'll let everybody kind of introduce themselves as well as we go to Cole.
Yeah, so I'm Cole Morgan. I've been working here for 7 years, and I'm a research officer now. Having a lot of fun.
Wow.
My name is Everest Mbala, research officer.
My name is Leonardo Rodriguez. I'm the ground operation manager working for the Mosquito Research for 29 years.
Wow.
Okay, my name is Whitney. I'm one of the lab techs, and I've been working here for like about 6 years now.
Wow. And third generation counter.
Yes, ma'am. My mother worked here for 40 years, so it's definitely something that I very easily stepped into. Honestly, I've been around all of this my whole life, basically. So it was very natural to step into this role, to be honest.
And people might wonder, who your mama?
My mom's name is Miss Zoila, and she was actually over in the BRAC for a short period working over there, and she is now happily retired. That's
wonderful. Very good.
Go ahead, Andre.
Oh yeah, my name is Andre Yates. I'm a disease prevention officer, and I haven't really been here that long. I could say about 11 months, but I'm happy to be here, and I really love the team.
Awesome.
Chris New, I'm our Deputy Director of Research and Ground Operations, but I I've been here about a year and a half. It came with 21 years of experience in mosquito control in the United States.
And I'm Storm McLean, and I've been here for about 6 years, and I'm entomology lab technician.
Yep. And I want to also mention that unfortunately, and I wanted to have them on, but unfortunately, our primary, the supervisor over in Cayman, Shauna McFarland, she's on vacation this week, a well-earned vacation, because she works so hard over there with her very, very small team. There are a few people, 3 people over in the back, and we're currently finalizing some recruitment for someone who's over in Little Cayman. The person who was in Little Cayman actually received the promotion, is now in Grand Cayman, so we're in the process of finalizing the recruitment for the person over in Little Cayman operations. But in the back, Shauna and her team do an amazing job. But because they're so small, I couldn't pull them from, to join on Shauna's behalf, because they got work to do. They got to keep the mosquitoes down in the back too, not just Grand Cayman. So they're unable to join, but I want to say a good shout out to them as well too, because they a few of us was over in the back for me to also kind of see the operations and stuff over there.
Yeah.
Again, they have a small and amazing team as well.
All right, so Juliet says, welcome home, Kevin, and thanks to MRCU for the information. Mariana also says, welcome home, Kevin. So thank you very, very much to the MRCU team, the ones who were present today, as well as everybody else who, isn't even on the screen. They all, again, collectively are keeping us as mosquito free as possible. And mosquitoes are so pesky. There's like a quote about mosquitoes about the power of one. Like when you think that one person or one thing can't make a difference, be in the room alone with one single mosquito, and you'll know how powerful one is. Just one mosquito can really drive you crazy. So again, thank you guys so much, and happy World Mosquito Day.
Happy World Mosquito Day.
Happy World Mosquito Day. Bye.
All right. Thanks again. All right, folks, there you have it. The MRCU team, Kevin arranged for them to come onto the program. And I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed that segment. And like I said, I can tell when y'all really enjoying something. Well received. So let's quickly change gears, because I do want to discuss a few things here. The most important discussion for our purposes this morning is going to be the situation that was sort of developing during the morning show yesterday morning. And this now is in relation to the I'm going to call it a generator fire there off of Fern Close. Now, you might have seen the story that went up late last night about this situation. Apparently, this man, Mr. Faulkner, has been at it for quite some time now. His neighbors are sick and tired of him. Everyone has literally had enough of Neville Faulkner. And so remember I showed you yesterday, someone had shared with me that he was in court. Let me just bring this back up on the screen. He was in court. This is September of 2023. And I checked in the status of this. Apparently this case has been thrown out or dismissed, or the DPP's office isn't pursuing it. I don't know exactly why, but we can see that according to this, up to 2020, he was being alleged once again to have been stealing electricity. Now, who he was stealing it from, what his neighbors are saying, we heard that gentleman call in yesterday, what his neighbors are saying is that he actually is stealing it from the neighbors. So the last time he was convicted, and it's actually, here's the irony of this thing with Neville Faulkner. It was about 10 years ago, almost to the day, August of 2000, hold on. Let me double check my numbers. But basically like 10 years ago, he was convicted of stealing electricity from CUC. So he pled guilty and everything. And what he did was he actually, let me just bring up his information here. He actually had wires running underground into his house. And one day CUC realized that his meter, $140,000 worth of electricity, by the way, he ended up stealing from them, but that basically his meter wasn't getting a meter reading, but yet the lights were still on. Quite literally, the lights were still on because this dude was stealing power directly from the CUC pole. He was actually, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at the time that they discovered his thievery, he was actually working as an electrical inspector for planning. He was still working for them at the time. This man is bold. So he's so incredibly bold, but I do wonder if something isn't quite going on right in his head, or if he's just such a brazen thief, because trust me, there's some people who they would steal breeze. That's how bad they are, right? So he might just be one of those people. But he claims that he was suffering from mental health problems and financial issues. Hey, we all have some form of mental health problems from time to time, and God knows we all have financial problems, right? That does not give you the right to go and connect your own power rigging situation from the pole underground to your house and steal electricity. Now, he was ordered, as part of his guilty plea, he was ordered to pay compensation of $138,395. And guess what? He never paid a dime, so they had to actually take him to civil court. I'm curious to know whether or not they've actually ever gotten any money out of this guy. Meanwhile, he has a tenement yard there in off of Fern Close, which that's the what's the general area called? Oh gosh, help me out here. Fairbanks. So he has a tenement yard there with like 23 people renting in that one house. Some of them are paying upwards of $900 for a room with jerry-rigged electricity. Now, this guy is so bold and so brazen. Can I tell you guys that yesterday morning, apparently planning went by. Obviously, the fire marshals and stuff, came out with fire service. They were on site. Police were on site. They have condemned his building. Now, listen to how bold this man is. He is next level ridiculous. They have condemned his building. And look at this. Let me try and pull this picture up. So they've condemned the building. And I'm going to show you guys some photos of what we have going on here at the location, so you can get an idea of how incredibly dangerous this is. Look at where the fire took place. Look at that. He could have burned down the entire house. 23 people. Here they are. Some of them out front have now been displaced in terms of their housing situation because of this man. I cannot believe that this has gone under radar. And, you know, some of the neighbors have reached out to me and they've sent me some comments. And I'm surprised, quite frankly, that none of them reached out to CMR about this because they were saying that even up until last week, they had a meeting on Thursday trying to get some assistance. Mr. Roy McTaggart was in attendance. DEH was in attendance. I think they said that, was it the police that refused? No, the planning department. I think police were there. The planning department refused to attend the meeting. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. I have no clue. But apparently they refused to attend the meeting. And yet yesterday, then they had to show up and actually condemn this building. So I have a few questions that, you know, are lingering in my mind here, because planning needs to pull up their bootstraps and really get their act together. Because how can you stick this on the door? Unsafe building, do not enter. It has now been condemned for human occupation, obviously, and anything else. Probably it's not even safe for the cockroaches. How is it that this building has been condemned, but yet the man was firing up generators last night and up to this morning? People are like, you know, his neighbors for years. You know how noisy generators are? Those of you who went through Hurricane Ivan, you will know. In the dead of the night, the humming of a generator is no fun. Much less, I don't know how many generators in total he had, because apparently, in order to supply that household with enough power for 20-something people, I'm told 23 people living in cramped quarters, in order to supply them with enough electricity, he's got multiple generators running throughout the entire night. This is just shocking, and I cannot believe that planning did not condemn his house before yesterday morning. It took almost a fire, near what could have been a very near fatal fire, for them to finally do something with this man. I mean, come on, planning. Y'all have powers just like police. You know, they can come in and shut things down and stick this sticker on here, meaning that you can't go inside that house. So that being the case, why is he still turning on a generator? This man needs to be arrested. Popo, where y'all at? Where's the RCIPS? You guys need to arrest Neville Faulkner. This man is playing around. And at some point, you've got to say enough is enough. His neighbors have been putting up with, what they say is horrific noise pollution and God knows what else for far too long. And he has been allowed to just do whatever he has wanted. And why? Why is that the case? Planning, y'all scared of him because he used to work for you or what? I'm a bit confused here now because this makes no logical sense. I mean, look at how the man keeping the place. So these things on the top, all the way up there, those are supposed to be windmills. He's got solar panels, windmills, generators, and then these water top coolers, because I understand that he can't get anything from the water company either. Y'all need to help me out here. How can you have a rental property, a tenement yard, right, with some 20-something people living there, and you have no proper electricity connection, nothing that's considered reliable, you have no water coming to the property, you're trying to catch rainwater with God knows what in it, and look at all these poor guys. It looks like they were primarily Jamaicans that he was renting to. Poor them. I'm surprised one of them not lick him yet. And then he had the audacity yesterday to tell them how, well, you're not getting any money back from me because, it's not my fault that the place has been condemned. Government planning department has condemned it. So go talk to them about your deposit and your rental money, et cetera, et cetera. Because now these people have to go and bunk up with their friends, if they have any, with people. And about 7 people had to be, at the expense of the Cayman Islands government, now have to be taken to some location up in Breakers where they have temporary housing. I guess it's soon be another Bodden Town Civic Center. They're going to put them all together in a housing structure and be like, okay, we'll see you in a couple years and check on you. Y'all understand the situation here? This is a very, very dire situation. Okay. My issue is this, and I heard the minister, who actually lives in the area, ironically enough, Minister, I might call Kenneth this morning, Minister Kenneth Bryan was also there. I heard he was upset because he's like, now y'all gonna make my road talk about us tomorrow. Well, y'all give me so much material. I cannot help but talk about you when this type of foolishness is going on. Why are situations like this, right? DEH knows about it. Planning knows about it. RCIPS knows about it. Why are situations like this allowed to fester and get to the point where people's lives yesterday morning could have been seriously at risk and compromised? One explosion at that location, and you've got 23 people living under one rooftop. You have got to explain this to me because this makes absolutely no sense. Y'all talk about the poverty that we're creating. People like Neville Faulkner is a major contributing factor, right, to encouraging this type of tenement yard situation in Cayman. This is horrific. People should not be permitted to have, first of all, I don't know what the square footage of his house is, but I'm pretty sure it's not sufficient for an occupancy of 20-something people, 23 people. Are you kidding me? This is unbelievable. What are we waiting for? Another explosion where people are going to be killed and then we go, oh man, yeah, we should have done something about this. Oh my gosh. So here's what one person said. What? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. You are kidding. Well, leave it to CMR to get the sus. But here, this really, really takes the cake. And again, Popo, y'all listening? We need y'all to do something about people like this, man. The DPP's office, these are the kind of cases that y'all need to be putting some energy into. Listen to this, what has just been revealed. This to me is so incredibly shocking. You know, I keep saying that nothing surprises me anymore, but the God's truth is every day y'all manage to pull one more thing out of the bag that is going to surprise me. This person says going into a meeting now, so can't talk. This man sold units to tenants at the time when the court fined him. They paid up to $50,000 and didn't get title due to the issues, and he did not pay them back. From my understanding, he used the money to settle his debt. When asked repeatedly for a refund, he threatened to get them off island because they were expats. Oh my God. You see, I'm telling y'all, as much as we want to say about Jamaicans, this and that, a lot of them still come here and behave themselves, because I can tell you one thing. He would not have had 23 Jamaicans living in a place like this in Jamaica and treating them like this, taking 50 grand. What currency was that? Is that CI dollars? He would have been taking that kind of money from them people, which really are his own people, and expect to still be living large. Let me show y'all something. You think the man that living large? Hold on a second here now. He's still trying to live large despite this jerry-rigging situation that he has going on at his house. So someone went by and took some pictures. Man got Mercedes parked up in the yard. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning, my dear.
Without you, we would be in the darkness. You know, thank you for bringing all of this to the forefront. But this is not the only place that the planning authority need to close down. I remember years ago when I used to run around drinking, partying, picking up women and all that stuff. I've been down in some apartments. I shouldn't even mention this, but I'm going to continue. I went into some apartments down on School Road. That these places, the only place you ever see them would be in a third world country.
Wow.
The wires are running from the main house to the apartments. You know, it's really sickening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and I hate to say it, but what these people are even paying, when you think about somebody paying all $900 for a house, $50,000 for a room. I mean, this man, he don't have no shame.
That is difficult to believe, though, that anybody would be that stupid to give him that kind of money.
Well, when you're vulnerable, and you're thinking you can get a little something, you know, someone like him, smooth talker, I'm sure, working his magic.
But Sandy, if you have $50,000, you're going to invest in that place. Would you?
You see, they thought they were buying a little room. You see, they thinking, and I mean, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But look like what he was doing was promising them, which I don't know how you'd split up a house like that where you buy just a room. But anyway, yeah.
But you know, a planning authority has failed this country and allowing people like Faulkner to operate. He should be in jail.
Definitely.
And no time given off.
And last time he got a suspended sentence for his guilty plea, it was suspended for 2 years. But I think they need to haul him in again this time and make sure he spends some time in jail.
Add that on, go take him back to court, and the judge gives him 5-6 years, and then add on what he was supposed to get in the first instance.
Yeah, unfortunately, the 2 years has since gone.
All he's doing is pushing his weight and thinking that he's above the law. And the planning authority or whoever, the electrical authority, is not doing their job.
Yeah. Thank you.
I would be so embarrassed. I would be so embarrassed to know that I even worked in the planning authority and allowing people like that. Anyway, thank you for bringing stuff like this to the forefront, because without you, Cayman would be in the dark.
Thank you, Mr. Dexter.
All right.
Strong Will doing some quick math says, Sandy, he's making plenty of money off of rent. If it's $900 times 23 persons, that's ridiculous. Well, by my calculations, that's over $20,000 a month. Now, let's assume that not everybody's paying $900. Maybe that's the top end. I don't know. But still, if he's making anywhere between 10 and 20 grand, that's still plenty of money. He needs to fix the place properly. Now, I wonder if he's not able to get CUC connected because, I mean, this is a question for CUC. Is he still owing them money? Has he not settled that debt? So, I mean, you owe CUC 40 grand. Yeah, you can understand why they're not going to be reconnecting you. No, sir. Magdalene, good morning, says laws have to be changed to protect the surrounding homeowners. And that's another serious concern because they are saying that they have been having to deal with this man for years. Let me read to you what one of them said. They said, let me read this comment. This generator situation has been going on for many years. And as residents, we have complained to many different authorities, but no one seems to be able to do anything. I understand the house has been condemned by the fire service. That happened yesterday, but yet the generator is up and running again tonight. That was last night at 8:20. He's now putting lives at risk and the authorities need to act. This morning, generator still running. What is wrong with this guy? They need to lock him up. Some of the residents of Les Ambiance, which I guess is an adjoining, in the proximity, met with DEH, RCIPS, and their property managers, BCQS, and DEH said that they would start to take measurements because of the noise and fumes. RCIPS said that they expect a result of a court case on the 6th of September. I don't know what court case that is, but said they had limited powers to seize the generators. Really? And they invited the Department of Planning and they declined to attend for some bizarre reason. Mr. Roy McTaggart was also made aware and has been for a long time, but he seems powerless to do anything as well. And this meeting that they had took place last Thursday. This is a recipe for disaster. Thomas, good morning, sir. Thomas says the RCIPS is a joke, and I can testify on that. And a few others in our community can, because for years, we've been making reports after reports about a specific family. Just as July 28th, we had a community meeting and 2 officers were there. We've given names and timestamps for when those reports were made. No further response from the RCIPS yet. Communications were sent to DEH as well. So, Thomas, was it in relation to this, or are you just saying that's a whole other situation as well? It's just, I mean, listen, we work too hard to have a little piece of property where you can't even enjoy your property. It's unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Good morning, Sony. Magdalene says, I remember seeing the ad on EK for this place. Lord Jesus. Jonathan says, Jinnel is as Jinnel does. Faded Mary Jean, we're talking about this man here, Mr. What's his name again? Faulkner, who, Neville Faulkner, who almost burned down the place yesterday with a generator fire that started, and the beat goes on. So basically, we have a situation where he has some 23 people renting from him at what I say is very unsafe conditions, and he doesn't even seem to care. Marcia says it can't be 50 grand. I think they mean 1,500 per room. Well, I'll clarify. But no, I think what was happening is he was selling the rooms. Like, okay, this room will be yours for life type of situation. And I don't know exactly how that could be done. Legally, that is. So this person says it was a Jamaican doctor who just moved to the island. And yes, it's 50,000 KYD. This happened to 2 individuals as far as memory serves. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? No, sir. Wow. 50,000 50,000 Cayman dollars, not Jamaican dollars, not Filipino pesos. Hello. I know one thing. I'd find 50,000 ways to take that out of his behind. 9:30. We're going to go into some overtime here. Radio folks, I think you've already been disconnected because you get disconnected a little bit early. So let me go ahead and turn off the radio and really ask the question here this morning, WTF? What? 50 grand from this man? He's a sweet talker. You can look at him and tell. Yes, he's fooling a lot of people. Same there. Sweet mouth. Somebody need to box him in it is what they need to fucking do. Let me be very, very clear, folks. Y'all out here working too hard for your money to be having someone like Neville Faulkner take advantage of you. Don't fall for these kind of scams. Shaka Zulu says the reason planning has failed this country is because Cayman is letting people who don't have generational connections to the island are placed in positions of leadership and simply don't care. Well, listen to me now. You can't, Caymanians are running the planning department, at least the head, Mr. Pandui, is a Caymanian, and I don't know who his inspectors are, but as far as I know, most of the inspectors are also Caymanians. And so I'm not so sure that that's the problem. I don't know if it's a lack of willpower or something else going on here, but come on now. Y'all need to get your shit together. Everton says maybe those tenants were quite contented with the situation they were living in. Why would I pay $900 a month for living in a slum and they that desperate as they can't find anywhere else to live in dire straits? Without a doubt, there is a level of desperation here, Everton, in this country. And a lot of people come here and put up with a lot. Some people, unfortunately, their conditions back home, and that's why they put up with it, is because the conditions back home are far worse. So, when we talk about this concept of importing poverty, this is where it's at. Mama, you got to call the other show line, 936-2626. Ringing and no answer. Let me see here now. I don't see you calling. Call straight line because I haven't set up WhatsApp yet. I got a new situation going on here. Okay. All right, good. So yeah, I had to set up an eSIM and we just got it right before the show. So it's activated now. And you notice we've had no phone issues yet this morning. So I think it's fair to say that the issue was definitely that Samsung phone. Yesterday, big shout out to Marlon. He suggested to me connecting the iPhone to the board. Because there was a time when the iPhone wouldn't work, but now it's working, honey child. Thank God for that USB-C port. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, honey child. How are you today?
It's crystal clear, crystal clear. I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored beyond all measures.
Yes. Tell me what's going on.
Sandy, my greatest concern is the after effect of these people. Where is Red Cross? Why is all of Red Cross key contacts off island? Why wasn't there anyone available for these people to go into the Red Cross center at the headquarters, which would have been closer for these people? They are receiving, it's my understanding, they're receiving 70+ K per year. And how is it possible that nobody's on island at the point of time to use the
Hold on a second. Back it up, Miss Amelia. Back it up. You say government pays Red Cross 50,000. How much is 70,000? 70,000 plus
70
per
plus
year.
K per year.
For what purpose?
And to operate for a disaster, in case of a national disaster.
Okay.
Fine. But then we had an emergency yesterday and we could not get on to no one at Red Cross. One is two is off island and the other one can't be found. Come on. A disaster can happen at any point, anytime. Why is it that they're not available? Why is it three of the key persons are off island? Huh? Who is to put these questions? So we need answers. We need answers regarding this.
So,
We shouldn't have to go
last
on.
night, now these people needed emergency housing, and you're saying that they should have been able to go to the shelter at the Red Cross, but nobody, no Red Cross people are here to do that. I mean, I find that hard to believe. Everybody gone on vacation.
We called all we can call. Hazard management call all they could have called, and no answer. It was we in the night that they got onto Bush and John Doe. That's not right. That is not right. And I mean, what happened if a disaster, actual disaster was to happen? How can you have all of your seniors or who needs to be called off island at one said time? That is not right. And that bothers me. It really does. Because here they are, prepare you for certain and prepare you for emergencies with any kind of emergency. Emergency happened last night, and there was no one that you could have contacted to get the center open.
Oh my God! All right, well, we'll ask those questions of Red Cross. We'll certainly reach out to them. Thank you for alerting us to that situation as well. But yeah, somebody has some other questions here and some comments coming in. Thank you, Miss Amelia. So I guess these people are still looking for housing because they can't go back there.
Well,
Are you surprised to hear that the generator was fired up last night, and which means that somebody living there? Why else would you need a generator?
No, you try when I visit the site, the man was doing all kind of sending wires all over the place. So late last night when I looked, lights came on, everybody couldn't believe it. I had to call 911. This man got another generator going. So they sent the police. The police.
Sound like me and you might have to go by there later on.
The police arrived. After the police arrived, and they said they were waiting on the fire inspector to address the situation. But I took the people and I left. So when I got back, after I got back down, I went by. Nobody was out there. The lights were still on, but I'm sure for the light to be on, the generator had to still been on. And I just left and went home. But you child, oh my gosh, that is despicable. That is despicable. And I went and talked to the man. I asked him, I said, would you be in position of refunding the people their deposit and their deposit and their at least a part of the rent that they already paid? He said they didn't pay him no deposit. And up comes a lady with the contract, and in that contract she had paid $700. I'm wondering if this man is mentally disturbed. I mean, that's the only way I'm seeing it. That he's not stable in mind.
Wow.
How can you put people's lives in danger like that? That is not good. And this is where planning, this should be an open eye for planning, Sandy, because in planning needs to get out there and see what is going on, number one. Number two, we need, it's also an eye-opening for a rental board. Cayman Islands needs a rental board. You understand? And it also opens eyes for an emergency situation. If I'm an emergency shelter, that you always have people being evicted and nowhere to go. We need an emergency place where we can put people until they can be processed at NAU or until they get they have time to give them a few days so they can have time to look somewhere else to go. It's needed. It is needed, and last night was an eye-opening for it. I've been begging for a situation, for a shelter such as, God knows, for over a year and more now, I've been begging for a shelter to put people in case of emergencies such as what transpired last night. You understand? So let's hope this open up eyes and motivate people to get things going and in gear and going. You understand? But the Red Cross situation is mind blowing. That all now I can't comprehend that really. I really can't. That is mind blowing. I'm so disappointed in that aspect of the area right now, and to see that they are the key persons who should have played a key role, and no one is here on island or available.
All right. Well, let's see what we can find out about them, because I'm very
Okay, my
curious about
darling.
that situation as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
I
there.
appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, folks. So big shout out to the iPhone team. Looks like we have our line issue resolved. Yay, Team iPhone. All right. So I don't know, what the final outcome of this situation will be. What I can tell you guys is without a doubt, we need something to be done about Mr. Faulkner. He is taking advantage of people. If he had any shame, that would be one thing, but clearly that simply does not exist. And so, you can't rely on people to do the right thing. That is why you have government agencies in place who are supposed to be enforcing the law. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing today?
Morning, dear. Not bad. How are you?
I'm going to give you a giggle. All right, you ready now?
Yes.
As per Mr. Faulkner's Facebook page, 13 hours ago, 3 a.m. this morning, I awake to use the restroom. Noticed a dead scorpion on the kitchen floor.
Yeah, lie.
Look up at the exhaust fans in the kitchen ceiling and said that scorpion must have came down through the grills for the exhaust fan out of the attic. So I need to smoke out that entire attic. 6:45 a.m. a fire started and the entire attic got smoked out completely. These boys here with me ain't no joke. This is literally on the Brethren's Facebook page, my love.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Well,
He trying to mount an insanity defense is what I'm now thinking. Trust me. I'm looking at it. That's exactly what he's trying to do. Insanity doesn't keep you from going to jail. I hope he knows. What a mess. This dude is.
You might enjoy that.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna post it up right now. Yeah, this dude's a joker. I'm not saying he's playing with a full deck, but I also think that he's very conniving because the way in which he's treating these people clearly demonstrates someone who just doesn't give a damn about human life.
So, if you're willing to play games and take the corrupt way, when it come back and bite you, it's really a large part of the problem is your fault yourself. So,
yeah,
anyway,
thank you so much.
have a great day. That's all I got to say to you today.
Yes. Yep. What a hot mess. There it is, folks. There's his post. Again, thanks to Jonathan for alerting us. That was posted 13 hours ago. As he was sitting down there breaching an order again. This is the foolishness he's talking about, but he getting up to use the restroom. Live Happy says, boy, Jamaican love a backdoor deal. Serves them right. I am not sorry for them. But even so, if the man is breaking the law, he needs to be held accountable. Now, I have to laugh at Mr. Faulkner because look at this post that he puts up now. As though he's in the right. He says here, don't be afraid of being outnumbered. A lion walks alone while the sheep flock together. Poor him. He got time to be posting this stuff on social media. Somebody better deal with this man. Mr. Hemez, good morning, says, let me just find that comment again. Let me just see where that was. Says another tenement yard is next to the passport office behind the Himalaya building. Poor quality and owner not fixing rooms after so many complaints by tenants, Jamaicans and Filipinos. Johan says, I bet you if it was Auntie Sandy or my apartments, I guarantee all of the relevant agencies would make the decision to condemn and shut down everything. Cayman enforcement only happens when you are deemed a problem or enemy of the state, i.e. the elected government and the senior levels of the civil service. We're speaking truth, is not accepted because somebody's feeling in power get hurt. Hashtag K-Mankind. What a shame. I tell you. Unbelievable. Irvlin says that this person must be mad. TPC. Faded at Mary Jean says, how are people renting from someone who runs their place on a generator? Girl, I'm going to tell you. It's the same question that I was asking as well. Yeah. And not just renting. Now, listen, if it's a low $50, then, you get what you get. Paying upwards of $900 for this? Oh, my God. Hermes says that recently government had to have the garbage bins removed from by the road due to the infestation of rats. Ew. Please put back up his picture. I want to take a picture and send it to my brother in Cayman, says Marcia. Hold on. Irvlin says, oh my God, it's him? Yep. Hold on. See him there? Him, same one. Warn everybody. Do not rent from this man. You know not, says import third world, you get third world. Shaka Zulu says, and some folks thought K-Man couldn't get any worse than with Judas Douglas. Laughing out loud. Oh, there's a scammer and always around the corner. I wouldn't even say waiting in the wings because they're actively working. So let's talk now to this lady who called earlier in the program. I know she was calling when MRCU was on, but she had some complaints as well. So give me 1 second here now. Let me give her a call. So I'll tell you what I did with the phone once I realized, thanks to Marlon's suggestion, I actually, what is this? Enable Wi-Fi calling. Can improve your ability to make and receive calls in areas of poor mobile coverage. Okay. So that had a call fail. I don't know, Wi-Fi calling. So we're going to enable it on this phone. Click on enable. Okay. Okay, honey child. Call performance and text messaging can be affected. Oh. Wi-Fi calling unavailable. Contact your network provider. What? What are you telling me to turn it on for if it's not available? All right, let me take a screenshot of that. I'll show that to Flo later on. I don't know what that means. And if you have 2 eSIMs, can you only turn it on one maybe? Maybe that was the problem just now because it worked on the first one. All right, let's try calling this lady again. Can't reach her. All right, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But Irvlin says they'll pay $900 PM then per month and then share the room with someone else. So would really be paying $450. That's why so many of them are living there. They sublet the rooms. Emma says Red Cross is a joke. They're for themselves. Oh, Lord. Strong Will says, Sandy, I wouldn't say the situation is worse. Their situation is worse back home. Some people try to save a few dollars because rent is very expensive. For the sale of the rooms, was he promising title on property for PR applications? This is a very good question. Very good question. Surely they were supposed to be getting something for $50,000. Huh. Shaka Zulu says this slumlord might be taking notes from Judith Douglas. But listen, Judith Douglas, to be fair to her, wasn't a slumlord because she actually wasn't renting any place. She was just scamming people out of rental money. She never had no place to rent them. So there is a difference. She was just a common thief, stealing their money, promising them a place to rent, and took over 50 grand from people, but she actually didn't have any place to rent. Kasha says, for many years, I donated clothes to the Red Cross. The bag I put them in was very distinguishable. 2 hours later, I saw a lady walking along Eastern Avenue with the same bag. Did she work at the Red Cross or who was she? Because they do give away, I think they have a shop, thrift shop, right, where people can buy clothes. Anne says he is stable in mind. He's just a criminal. Fresh Joe says, I've seen people enter the thing that you drop off the stuff in at Red Cross and throw out all the stuff and then bolted when they realized I was seeing them. Kasia says the mass importation of poverty is surely coming back to bite us all in the arse. Time to change direction. It's not too late. But I mean, the crazy thing is, Cassius and others, is you have people like this man who is literally becoming rich off the backside of hardworking people. Because if he's making anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000 a month, come on now. You know, he's certainly not living in no poverty. Sandra says, why do we seem so surprised about the turn of events with Faulkner's situation, the planning department, MPs and the Red Cross, etc.? No captain. It's shameful and ridiculous to say the least. He has nothing to worry about, says Cassius. This is K-Man. He'll be given a slap on the wrist, a country full of laws that are only enforced selectively. Same thing that Johan was saying. Miss Venice, good morning, says, let's not forget that they're human beings suffering from the situation. Sad, sad, sad to see we're still not getting we're still not getting with making it better for everyone. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I'm the person just calling in WhatsApp, but I'm trying to call you back, but I'm not getting through.
Yes, I still need to sort out the WhatsApp to work on this particular phone. So for right now, it's straight calling. But you had a situation of your own that you were sharing with us as well. But it's not the same location. This is somewhere else that you live.
Yeah, 16 Evan Close, Stonewall Road, the pit.
Where is that? That's West Bay, Georgetown?
West Bay.
Okay, all right.
And the place smell like, I don't know if they killed the fall lemon tree in the yard. The place smell like some dead rot.
And so
I'm in the room right now, and the
paying
place
rent
is
from
so stink.
you're paying
talked
rent
to her.
there.
Yeah, I just talked to her about it, and she gave us notice as we pay her the rent. And if you come right now and see the yard, you could see the whole place flood with pit water, and we have to put black to walk over it.
Who is your landlord? Who owns this place?
She named Sophia.
Sophia. No last name?
I have to ask my girlfriend because it's me and I pay the rent together. But she's full of attitude. She's normally talking about she cannot do anything because the pit is not full and it's running over a month and a half now. 2 months now. And we bring our kids here and we have to send them back home because it's not healthy for them to be here. We have to pay extra money to book back the ticket for them to go home before them time. And it is not healthy. And when we talk, we're paying our money and come back, we cannot say anything. If you come and see this place is in a mess for having tenants here.
So we're looking at a video here of it, and you're saying that water
is the black. Yeah, the black. We have to put the black, and it is going in. It is going in my nether friend house. Right now, inside is wet.
Oh my God. Wow. And how much are you guys paying rent to stay in a place like this in cesspool water?
$500. Wow. And when the kids come, we put like $20 more on it. Yes, but we send them back home before time. Send them home back from 2 weeks ago because they cannot go outside and play, and them is complaining that it don't make sense. Them is here and in the house, but they are at Jamaica. This place really wants a power wash.
In more ways than one, looks like. Oh my God.
The place is so stink.
Oh my God.
I just go outside to wash the plate and have to bring them in back because we have to wash the plate outside.
Yes. And so your landlord is saying she can't do anything about it.
No, and she's here. She can't do nothing about it.
Wow. But she owns the place?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Anybody contacted planning, DEH? Give us the address again, because I want to send this to DEH to see if they can't do anything about this.
16 Evan Close, Town Hall Road.
16, hold on now. 16 Evan Close.
Town Hall Road.
Town Hall Road, and that's West Bay. All right, I'm going to send this to them this morning.
All right, thank you.
And see if there's something they can't do. Of course, she's going to make you guys move out. But at least the next person might have a better place to live.
No, I'm gonna get a house in Windsor Park because I just paid the rent and I can't stay right. It's stuffing me up, and it's like it gives me flu. I have just my nose alone stuffed it up. I cannot go outside. I'm in the house right now. I don't know what. I pull out the AC, wash it, and it's like a stinking rat scent is coming in. 1 minute, please. Lisa, what is Sophia's last name? She name is Sophia Taylor. Hear me?
Sophia Taylor.
Taylor, yeah.
Where is she from?
Same place she live in the yard.
No, but she's Caymanian? Sophia Taylor?
I think she's a Jamaica. Jamaica Caymanian. And
yes, I was going to say, you know, that name don't sound too Caymanianish still.
She's too nasty.
Yes. She probably come out of Tivoli Gardens, my dear child.
Miss, I tell you.
Nasty
I want to cry. I say last night, I come and I drop in at the something. I send go buy a little soap. I sit down in the house and I cry because I step on the block and the black broke with me.
Lord Jesus. All right, we gonna send somebody by. Thank you so much. Appreciate you highlighting it. Sophia Taylor, clean up your yard, please. Thank you, my dear.
Yeah.
These people too fucking nasty, if you ask me.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. No, man. Listen, they talking about cleanliness is next to godliness. Clearly, y'all faking the whole godliness thing. Because y'all have stink yards, stink house, stink behinds. And then you want to dress up in frock tail and go to church and sit down and worship God on a Sunday. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, so somebody says, yes, my friend confirmed that he got some of the money back. Same landlord we talking about. Wowee. So why was you paying? So you're paying $50K for a room. I got questions. He was going to rent that out of what? Oh my God. All right. She's not a Jamaican. Here the Jamaican crew correcting me now. She's not a Jamaican. That's Seymour daughter and Seymour yard. Which Seymour? Seymour in West Bay? Which Seymour are we talking about? Here you know. Bring it on, honey child. Tell us exactly who her mama is. Who she from? Nastiness. So I don't give a fuck if she came in or not. I remember to call the lady back. Yes, thank you so much. I just called her. Someone says if the tenants agreed to rent a place that was visibly unlivable for pennies, then they had to know that they were living in a risky situation and anything can happen any given day. Yesterday was that day. I say repeatedly, you get what you pay for. It's like the lawbreakers that pay for someone to take out a permit for them and then get scammed and then plead ignorance. Me never did know. Sorry, not sorry. I wonder who the Benz and BMW belong to. Rule in life, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And then I must have said it at the same time. They said jinx, laughing out loud. Somebody please tell Ramelia that government can't even open a mental health facility. How she expects them to build and operate a shelter for non-Caymanians to have somewhere to live when their unlivable domain has been condemned. A place they chose to rent are any Caymanians, his tenants. We can't even afford all the Caymanians to spitting out babies and lining up at NAU. True. All facts, I must admit. I'll send that to Miss Ramelia for her, just in case she's not listening, because you know she don't like the cussing, so she might have tuned out already. All right, so listen to this one now. Well, somebody said Sophia Taylor is a Jamaican / Caymanian status, same as Neville Faulkner. Well, Taylor is not a Caymanian name. Oh my God, hear this, so now. And he's putting pressure on Spanish pom pom for sex or they get kicked out. Not hearsay. Oh my God. And poor Spanish people be going there too. Seymour Jerk, Stan daughter, she mixed with Jamaican. Well, you know, Caymanian's not gonna own her at a time like this. Feel sorry for y'all. But okay, mixed with Jamaican, they gonna tell you, yeah, she's Jamaican too. All right, Seymour that used to own the jerk chicken in town. He lived northward now. I know that yard for more than 20 years, and it's always stink, nasty, and dirty. Oh, Lord. But where's Seymour from? He not Jamaican? They used to own the jerk place? This is his daughter? They need somebody to take some of that water and splash it on them. I bet you they'll clean it up real quick. Live Happy says, we need a rental board. Please put me on the board, right? Wash plates outside. No, sir. Venice says, now we see the reason why our streets are so dirty. Too much of this type of stuff is happening here. So, you know what? Listen to me. Where was I yesterday? Somewhere I was, and somebody said to me, Sandy, you know the people around here, they're behaving these days because they don't want to end up on Mall Road. I mean, I hate to abuse Mall Road's innate power to get shit done, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So, where does Seymour woman name again? We're going to be posting you up as Jackass of the Day. Somebody say he's a Jamaican too. Hello. Yes, he's a Jamaican, but been here for many, many years. He's still a Jamaican. I bet you if you ask him where he's from, he's not gonna tell you he Caymanian unless he putting in for a business license. Then he might acknowledge his Cayman status. All right, Miss, what your name is again? Sophia Taylor. You're gonna be featured as Jackass of the Day. We have your address. We have everything about you that we need to know for the purposes of calling out your stink, dirty landlord ways. And we will definitely be putting you up. This person says, yes, Seymour from the Jerk Chicken Stand. He is Jamaican, but been here a long time. All right. Please tell your daughter to be clean. I hope she never worked at the Jerk Stand because if your house can be, I hear the other phone ringing. I mean, somebody trying to call on WhatsApp. So right now, I don't have WhatsApp set up on this phone yet. So you have to call direct 936-2626. Someone get it done. I'll work on getting that done later on today. All right. So phone line has been working perfectly fine today. Praise the Lord. Wasn't the cable, wasn't the board. It was that Samsung phone. Only God knows what happened to it. I don't know what happened to it. It was working fine before I went on vacation. I think it might be a software update because we changed out the port and everything's still not working. Anyway, I can't be bothered with Samsung. Thank you, iPhone. We're back in business. And, the problem was when I got this new board 2 years ago, 2 years already, iPhone didn't have the USB-C port, and they got rid of the 3.5 millimeter jack on the back. So I went from being able to use an iPhone to not being able to use an iPhone. And the only reason I had that Android phone was to accept calls on the show, because that's why every time I'm looking at it, I don't even know how to turn it off. Because literally I leave it plugged into the board all the time. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this Android phone. So thankfully, USB-C is here with the new iPhone 15. Yay! Woo, woo. And as a result, we can now receive calls with no problems today. So, the pudding, what did it say? The proof is in the pudding. It's in the results. No line issues at all today. Strong Wilt says that's not his daughter. It's his stepdaughter. And where's the wife from? She Caymanian? Where's the Caymanian connection? Kasha says, yeah, I hear it all the time. Me's a Caymanian only when they look into fleece Cayman. What a hot mess. Like I said, Cayman is importing the worst of the worst. Our society is quickly degrading to that of other failed states around the region. And, we welcome people into our beautiful country, but we have got to be, his wife Jamaican too? So how does stepdaughter gonna be Caymanian? Did she at least marry a Caymanian? Stepfather Jamaican, real father probably Jamaican, mother Jamaican, and y'all trying to tell me she a Caymanian? On what universe would she be a Cayman in exactly? Because that don't make no sense. She not no Cayman in. Sorry to say. What a mess. Y'all just bringing Cayman down. And the crazy thing is they came here because of what attracted them about Cayman. Nice, safe place, clean, this and that. And the very things that attracted them to Cayman, they are now fucking destroying about this country. That's the part that gets under my blood clot skin, Like, seriously? You came here, you were running from something else that you never like over there, so. You come find the little Cayman Islands. Yes, y'all like to, well, nobody don't know Cayman. They got mosquitoes. Okay, that was the worst that y'all used to be able to say about us is we had mosquitoes. Now we got scammers, rapists, murderers, bank robbers, this and that. And, a good degree of it is imported in. Y'all brought your nasty ways with you. And all the good, sensible, upstanding Jamaicans, this is no insult to you because, I'm not talking about you. So y'all don't need to get in your feelings about nothing. Strong Will says she's Jamaican with Cayman papers. Lord, what a hot mess. Everton says so does curse words again. Curse word again. It's so funny. Behave yourself. Yeah, not. The only thing that attracted them was the money. The money that they were sending home to build their life back there. They're not Caymanians and never will be. Well, once they got that piece of paper, legally they are, and they're entitled to the same everything that me and you is entitled to. And so, you know what I say? Let them feel the pinch of what it really is like to be a Caymanian. Because as Johan rightfully pointed out, if that was me and him, then we'd be having the axe put down on us. So put the axe on their fucking neck too. I'm just saying, report them. Thank you to that tenant who is she says she is Seymour's daughter, but she married about 20 to 30 times as the nastiness makes all the husbands run. Well, I wouldn't doubt that. Jeez, on peace, not for all the pum pum in the world. You gotta stay around with septic, flowing out in your yard and all kind of stuff. Sure, y'all too nasty. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sunday. It's me again.
Hello, Mr. Dexter.
In defense of this woman that her carrying her house and yard so bad, if it's a Silburn, his father or her grandfather lived down in Dog City. The guy that her father was the one that did the best jerk chicken on the island, and they are decent folks. And all of the time that I've known him,
I'm hearing that's her stepfather, so he probably not cleaning her today either.
Oh, okay. Well, I can only say I can only speak in their defense because the mother is both of them are decent people.
Yeah, listen, we're not here to judge them, right? We were just trying to figure out. They said she's a Caymanian. Somebody jumped on and said no, she's a Caymanian because I said she got to be a Jamaican. They said no, she's a Caymanian. I was just going off the name, so I was trying to ascertain the Caymanian connection. So I said, well, who are her parents? So I'm hearing stepfather Jamaican. Mother Jamaican, real father Jamaican. I'm like, where's the Caymanian? Obviously, she's been here long enough. She got status, but that's not what I was referring to when I said, who's she for?
They need to send her. They need to send her back to Jamaica. Unfortunately, she got a Cayman status. I mean, people can't come here and I don't know if she was born here or she came here, but people cannot turn this. People are now turning this country into a ghetto.
You better believe
Sometimes I didn't even want to think that I'm a Caymanian anymore because I don't see a Caymanian surviving in their own country, but some Caymanians are just as bad.
Oh, yes. I mean, we're talking about Judith Douglas, somebody mentioning her, saying that she was a slumlord before they caught her for thievery. I mean, we know she's been I didn't know her as a slumlord, but if this person says it, then I'll take their word for it. because she's been doing the most in terms of stealing from people. So a lot of her own people, but guess what? You know, we don't have anywhere to send our own people. We're trying to push them off in the UK, and the UK don't even want them. But to think that on top of the hot mess that we have here with our own people, we're going to turn around and also import this type of bullshit, that I got a real problem with that.
Me too.
Thank you, my dear.
All right, then, Sandy. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much. That's a good one, says Darlene. Miss Bonnie says he is not her stepfather. He's her father. And her parents are decent people. I don't know. Listen, Miss Bonnie, as you can well tell, I don't really give a shit. All I know is she nasty. She not really Caymanian. Yes, she has her status now. Good for her. But she's a fucking nasty woman, and she needs to clean up her act. Now, if she's not going to do that on her own and renting out to people, you know, we're going to send this. I'm sending Action email right now about overflowing septic. I wish I had her number because we'd call her. Septic in the yard. And stinkness all over the place. Odor emanating. Let me put it nicely. As well as the health risk being posed. All right. So now they can go out there and deal with her. She can't fix it. How y'all can have a place? Let me ask y'all a question now on a more serious note. How can y'all have places that you're renting to people and you claim you not got no money to fix nothing? What the hell are you doing with the people that rent money? You see, y'all believe, right, that rent is just to be collected and you can just make a profit off of people and you never fix nothing up. That's not how this works. If you're a decent landlord, you will know that a lot of your money goes into the upkeep of the property. Keep it to not just, livable standard for sure. But you know what people are paying, it should be even better than that. They said, Jesus Christ, caller, if you say those people who used to jerk the chicken in town, the decent people, you don't know them. Oh, geez, some peace are decent people. Lord Father. Oh. All I'm going to tell you is this is their own Jamaicans giving me the sauce. I don't know them from the man in the moon. But she said, if you say they're decent people, Mr. Dexter, you don't know the true story. Lord Jesus. What a mess. All right, somebody said, I'm just getting on. You're going to have to hit that rewind button. Bonnie says, I believe she's born here. I would say she was spoiled. Spoiled into nastiness? Does being spoiled make you nasty? This person says she's had about 20 husbands. Let's get back to Mr. Neville for a second. Kasia says politicians aren't interested in changing our immigration laws because they're afraid to lose any votes for those who are now Caymanians, plus money people want cheap labor, like the minister in charge of labor and pensions. That's why he's hiring mostly foreign workers at his company so he can take advantage of them and don't pay them and don't do this, and then they're afraid to speak up. Strong Will says, hello. No, that's not her father. Y'all really getting into these kind of arguments. I know the family very well. The parents live next door to me. Decent people. Oh, Lord Jesus. Darlene says, what happens to the donations that's inside? The right and needy people living here getting the good stuff. Speaking about Red Cross. I think Red Cross should address, I'm going to talk about NPOs tomorrow, but I think that they should address some of these concerns. Miss Olive says they used to have a house in Windsor Park where they season the chicken. Oh boy, if people only know what they were eating. I'm sure them nasty. Putting on nice clothes and go to church is not all. All right then, folks. Let's get back to Neville Faulkner because this one has gone off the rails thanks to the daughter bringing attention to the whole family now. No, sir. Everywhere the corruption is stinks, says Darlene. Miss Bonnie says, yes, spoiled when you have helpers cleaning after you. No, Miss Bonnie. You can have all the helpers in the world cleaning after you. You're not going to sit down and make a septic overflow and not do anything about it because you were spoiled. No, you just fucking nasty. That's the very definition of being nasty, whether you had helpers or not. How can she live like that? There's Neville Faulkner. Mr. Neville, please leave the Spanish women alone. They're not interested in your stink puss lip. Talking about you want to be sucking on them and doing what else? So apparently he uses and threatens them with eviction, so they have to go be sleeping and bunking up by other people because of him and his nastiness. I'm so sick and tired of y'all. Look at him. No standards. Gabby says no jerk for lunch today, right? Turn you off completely. You cook your own food, child, because you know where you're getting at. Yeah. Juanita says she must have 314 and 301 kids. My grandmother would say pregnant every month. Oh, Lord Jesus. Then we have a minister in charge of labor and pensions who own businesses taking advantage of it. Yes! Faded Mary Jane says, Twilight Zone to Ross. That's exactly what it is. Him and driving drunk 24/7. That's him. Darlene says he looked like he got a sweet mouth. Well, I don't know what that mouth be doing, but I tell you what it's not going to be doing anymore. It's not going to be stealing electricity from his neighbors and from CUC and jerry-rigging all of these generators. You don't need to lock this man up. Listen, with lips like that, he would be very attractive to a few people well in prison. I'm just saying. I bet you what. You make him go and sit some time in prison, he'll learn to fucking behave himself, or he stay in prison. At one or the other. Seriously. Them prison boys would find some good use for them lying lips, stealing people money. All right, now listen to me. On a serious note, this is a very, very dangerous situation that this man has created. Then he had the audacity yesterday to tell people must come off his property. Dude, are you for real? Popo, fire service, planning department, please do what you need to do. You cannot condemn a building and then have generators still running last night. Hello? That means somebody's still living there. What are your enforcement powers once the property has been condemned? You hear him and the generators going, you know that means that the man up in there. Sure. Y'all act like you don't have no sense. Talking about enforcement. Miss Juanita said, Lord heard Sandy today stink puss. I love CMR cuss day. Well, what can I tell you? Strong Will says his lips look like stale puss. Y'all are, oh Lord have mercy. I don't know. All I can tell you, this man is a very he looking for trouble. I'm just saying. When them Jamaicans one of these days gonna get enough, they gotta fix them lips for him. All right, folks. Oh Lord have mercy. This one says Seymour jerk been nasty from day one. I don't know who said it was clean. She probably got her nasty from them. Final call of the day. Good morning, caller.
Hi, morning. I've been listening for a little bit. I really wasn't going to call in, but it really sounds like a hot mess of a situation that's going on there. And just to add to Mr. Dexter's comments and to reiterate his sentiment, it is really a shame that Mr. Faulkner has been allowed to carry on with what he's been carrying on with. Like you said, there's been a sticker put on the door. Planning ought to do a better job. There have been properties, or let's call them tenements, in Cayman that have been knocked down because they did not reach the level that was required by planning authority. There's legislation that specifically speaks to having to have running water and electricity in the home in order for the home to be fit for living. And well, by all accounts, he's unable to satisfy or get any of those things. Why isn't a bulldozer out there knocking down his home? I mean, I was able to have construction stopped on a very legitimate project that was granted planning permission because a neighbor in front of me suggested that, well, they thought that something a right or a miss was going on there. Held up my construction for 6 months. But what I'm saying is they have all of the evidence to show that there's absolute illegitimacy going on over there, yet nobody's taken a position to ensure that they're not entering the home. They were risk to the homes around them. And God forbid, he could have caused the 23 tenants in there to die inhaling those toxic fumes. Generators are not meant to be run. Those types of generators, like what I saw in that photo, are not meant to be run for excessive periods. Those are not those types of generators. And to know that this is still going on and nobody's out there with a bulldozer knocking it down, I promise you, if it was my old MP from the East, he'd have been out there today with a bulldozer.
And then you see one of the pictures here. I don't know if you guys made this observation. Let me try and look at some of these pictures again. There's an old gas can where he was, here it is, where he was obviously gassing up the generator after it was burnt out. You see the gas pan there? This is, listen, I'm surprised that this place has not exploded yet, to be honest.
Well, this is the problem, but we have these type of people among us making these types of issues, making it really hard for the rest of us. But at the end of the day, the most important thing here for us to realize is that they're putting human lives in complete danger and at complete risk. What if that home had exploded? We've already, I don't know the circumstances, but we've already had a home that exploded.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we don't even, well, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't heard, you know, what was determined to be the cause or the outcome of that issue, but this should be I guess, a learning lesson for sure. People should take heed that these are dangerous situations and just not be concerned, not be so clearly he's a blasted greedy cow. Not be so greedy, but be concerned about the safety for yourself, if for no one else, at least for yourself. He created an absolute mucky dangerous situation for himself and everybody around him, and put even fire officers in danger when they're going up to these types of things. You know, it's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But I will leave you there. But if anybody got a bulldozer, I'll drive it and take it down. If it's condemned, let's take it down. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, folks, that'll be the last phone call of the day. But yeah, look at this. This is the room where the fire started yesterday. There's a generator. The entire, house there, in my opinion, is just very, very fortunate that this was not a more serious outcome. Wow. These are the kind of neighbors that, boy, make you not want to have neighbors. So the property has now been condemned. He's still obviously living in it, still running generators up to this morning. Let's see what the authorities are prepared to do. Anne says maybe Plan is inspecting by Zoom. Strong Will says kaboom to that caller. Nat B says stealing of electricity, is that not a criminal offense? Yes, and he was 10 years ago to the day almost, August of 2014. He was he pled guilty and still turns around and continues to do it from the looks of it. The dude is all kinds of special, I'm telling y'all. Unbelievable. We're going to continue to keep on this situation as we do with most things around here. Now, let me tell y'all how this works, okay? I'm going to just tell y'all one thing about me. I've told y'all already, I'm a very tenacious person. And yes, there might be times when that's not a good trait. Trust me. But in a lot of instances, that's exactly what you need. I am like a pit bull. When I grab on, I'm not letting go, honey. Yeah. We can hold on to this until this is resolved. We're not letting it go. If I got to go there every day, sneaky linking and looking and getting people to take pictures and watching the situation, then that's what we're going to do until the authorities get up off their asses and get to work. And as that last caller said, if that means that they got bulldoze the whole fucking place, then they got to do that. It's one thing to say the people who come to Cayman, like, oh, you guys, you shouldn't live in these types of places, whatever. Guess what? If we didn't have these types of places created for them to live in, they wouldn't have these types of places to live in. And maybe we would start attracting a little bit better quality as well. You know the old saying from that movie, you build it and they will come? So we're building shitholes and we're attracting shithole, infested people who want to live in those places or who feel like they have no choice but to live in those places. So don't always be so quick to blame the people who are living there who feel like they don't have any alternatives. Why don't we address the issue at the core? That this little 10-mile by 2-mile country shouldn't even have this type of a tenement yard situation. Why is this even allowed to happen? We as Caymanians need to have standards. If you want to be a homeowner in this country and you want to make that available for rent, this is where the rental board now has to come into effect, then it is high time that we have some minimum standards. And the provision of reliable and safe electricity and water supply is a must. Those are the basic things. Windmill, generator, jigger rig, solar and all this kind of shit, they're not gonna cut it. This place should have been condemned a long time ago. And all of this time, people have been complaining. And those complaints are falling on deaf ears. Mr. McTaggart, you claim that you can't do nothing about it. Poor you. That's why y'all need to retire from politics and go sit your ass down, because apparently you can't do much about nothing. Sometimes all you have to do is highlight a situation and bring public attention to it. And then all of a sudden the civil servants jump up and want to try and fix shit. Good on them. So this is my new bone for the week. And I'm going to stay on top of it. And I got more than one bone that I'm chewing on at the same time. Because guess what? There's another situation brewing in Georgetown that I need to go talk to some good people about today. And we're going to feature that on tomorrow's program. I'm just so sick and tired of the people that we're actually paying to help solve our problems. These MPs claiming that they're impotent and they can't do nothing. They can't get nothing done. What are we paying you for again? Help, remind me. What's going on? Everton says, do you know the cost of running a generator 20? Hello? Those of us who went through Hurricane Ivan full well know the cost. That's why I tell them I'm not complaining about CUC, because right now I'm going to go turn off this air conditioner up, and I'm going to get my behind outdoors and go and do some stuff on the road. That's how you control your CUC bill. You don't use it because they not charge you for nothing you not use. And you know how I appreciate it is because, yes, during Ivan, I had a generator running, not even 24/7. And that was how many years ago? Almost 20 years ago. And trust me when I tell you that was hell of expensive. When you have to fuel that up every single day, that fuel factor is no joke. Fresh Joe says government really needs to step in and put a stop to these illegal premises being operated. Highlight every single one of them. Nat B says, as Johan said, planning and RCIPS only have the energy for certain people. Hold on, honey chia. The CI laws do not apply to all. If I was stealing light and water, it would be broadcasted to all and sundry. Yes, and you'd be in jail. Why they allow this man a suspended sentence? I would love to know what magistrate that was. He was a fucking electrical inspector of all people. When you think about people who have like a professional obligation, right? I was like, worked for the planning department as an electrical inspector, and you're the one who ends up stealing electricity? 140,000 for years he was doing it. He should have gone to jail. This suspended sentence because you claim you got mental health problems, nothing wrong with you that a good swift kick in the ass wouldn't resolve, or a good stint in jail would not have resolved. They need to send his ass to jail. And he's not stopping because the message from the beginning wasn't sufficiently impactful enough, and he's going to continue to do it. And says, isn't employees required to provide proof of residency for employees and work permits. That used to be the law in immigration fault. Well, they put down any address. They don't have to provide proof of residency. They just have to say, okay, they're staying at this address. Nobody not checking it, Ann. I've actually had someone say to me before, and I was shocked at it. Oh, can you fill out this form for me and just tell me what address to put down? I said, what do you mean, what address? I said, you're supposed to put down the address where you're actually staying or where you have a lease to stay, not just some random address. Oh, they didn't know. That's because y'all too busy trying to scam every little nook and cranny out of the Cayman Islands. That's a big problem. So unfortunately, and no one is doing any checks on where these people are staying. They could be living in a rat hole. You know? No, they don't know. Like somebody said earlier, we got more laws than Quaker has oats, and unfortunately, none of it not being followed. Johan says, FYI, if an MP interferes or told that this is a matter for the civil service management and their actions are effectively deemed political interference, so the management of the civil service at the highest levels must do their jobs better. Pretty please. Well, we call them out if they're not. Oh, poor Johan. He's safe. He has to beg for brownies another day. All right, I'm going to try to make you some brownies today, but you know, making brownies does not actually pay my bills. I have like legitimate work to do, so I got to get going now and doing it. And in fact, I need to send something to a client in Cayman Brat this morning as well. All right, folks, that's all we got for today. What Johan said, liared. You gonna pay me for my brownies? Oh, well, now what should do? Start charging you? I bet you'd eat less then. To the best of my knowledge, Neville's an electrician. Not sure. Yes, he used to be a planning inspector. I would tell you, he used to be an electrical inspector. Go and Google his name. He started, I'm trying to figure out where he living these days. But he was what did he work with? The dude just next level. Oh, somebody was suing him. Oh, that was when CUC was suing him back in 2015. And Miss Elsa Terry also sued him. Oh, what's this one about? Hold on. Let me log into Offshore Alert, honey child. Let me see what else he was being sued for. Hold on, honey child. Offshore Alert. Yeah. Let me see here now. Hold your horses. Where's the login button? Go to home. Go to home page. Log in. Where's the login button not working, honey child? So he was sued by this. Who was Miss who? Okay, hold on. We logging in. Things moving kind of slow. We're gonna log in and see what this other lawsuit was about too. Oh, remember me? Just keep me logged in. Yes, honey child. By the way, does anybody want a rabbit? I have a rabbit I'm trying to rehome. He's on the loose in the neighborhood. And every night the poor little thing comes in my yard. We try to give him water and some food. But my daughter is getting attached to him and I don't want him. So he's cute. He's a gray rabbit. If you're looking for a rabbit or you'd like to take care of him, you give him a good home, do let me know. You got to catch him though. He's a little bit fast. So Elsie, so he got a couple people suing him here now. Elsa M. Terry. This is back in 1995. So this one, I don't know who Miss Elsa Terry is, but apparently she was suing him too. And this was plaintiff applicants Hunter and Hunter, Neville Antonio Faulkner. That's him. These old ones don't say, so I can't tell you what that would have been for. Case number 507 of 1995. But I know CUC did. They sure did try to sue him for their money back. Don't know if he paid it though. All right. Miss Ann says, wow. The fear of the immigration van appearing in a site is no longer a fear. Not as much as it used to be. That much we know for sure. He told someone that he did it for that reason. The son blew the house up intentionally because the mother was selling it. Oh, this is the one down in Newlands? That is another case that unfortunately they will never solve. As McTaggart can't do nothing, I bet my life if that was in his neighborhood, he would do something. In his neighborhood, cars can't even park in the street. So be playing up too. So he playing up too. Lord Jesus, what a mess. All right, folks, that's it. I don't know what else to tell y'all except that we're going to keep an eye on it. Mr. Faulkner, you are now officially on the CMR radar, and we're going to be on you like white on rice. You better straighten up. Or Northward is doors wide open, willing to welcome you. All right, folks, so tomorrow is what, Wednesday? I think we have Mr. Panton supposed to be scheduled to come on. Let me just check my booking calendar here now. Yes, I got him supposed to be coming on. I'll just confirm with him later on today. And then I do want to talk about on, I'll double check what time Mr. Panton's coming on, but on Friday, when we were talking about this government signing off on this dredging in an environmentally protected zone for Miss Heather Bodden's family, someone reached out with some stuff that they wanted me to read during the show. I didn't get it until afterwards, but of course, I also want to be in a position to fact check these things, which I have now done. So I will possibly on tomorrow's show address that individual as well. Yes. All right. So that's what we're looking at. Thursday, CUC will be on, and then Friday so far looks like open mic. By the way, remember the Jamaican lady with the baby daddy mix-up, mother-in-law wannabe mix-up, mama drama, whatever? She was supposed to get her child back yesterday. I'm reporting that she's not heard from anybody, and she hasn't had her child back. Now, this woman claimed, remember the woman? That she's got all these children, and they're police officers in Jamaica, and they're supposed to be upstanding people. We had an agreement, and I'm sad to say that this woman does not appear to be keeping up her end of the agreement, which is very, very unfortunate and very, very sad. You say you don't even know if the child is your grandson, but yet you're trying to hold on to the little boy. So we'll speak with her tomorrow and see what further assistance we might be able to provide. If anything, it looks to me now like she actually needs to file a police report in Jamaica and get the authorities involved to be able to get her son back. What a hot mess. Y'all are messy bad. All right. See y'all tomorrow morning. Stay blessed. And Neville Faulkner, shame on you. You got to do better.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.